Okay. Where are we at? Oh, let me make sure we're watching the live stream. I got the player cam up on my left. I don't think I'm allowed to share it with you guys. I don't think we have the rights, but we can all kind of watch together. I see Ding Liren at the board. He looks all right. He looks like he might have slept a little bit last night. Not too much. Not too little. Just right. Just right. He seems like, okay, first game, he played white. Was a draw. Not so good. Not terrible. Second game, black. Gotta hold it. Gotta hold it. Try to win the world championship. Okay, let's see the first game here. So, d4. Knight f6, knight f3. c3. Ooh, Ding just bringing out everything. First he tried e3. Now he does c3, kind of reverse Slav. And wow. This is really something. So he goes all out, huh? Trying to hold on to this pawn. Looks like Nepo's at the board for game 2. They're going to be starting very soon. Let's just see what happens. So e5. This is very like all thematic, just from opposite colors. And sharp stuff. Looks like both sides are kind of attacking. Looks like game 2 starting very, very soon. Wow. Almost checkmate, huh? I had this. Okay, very good. Very good. Let's see if we can find the board. So, first game draw. I think people are saying Nepo was maybe better at some point. Game 2 underway. Let's go. Live chess. e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e5. Rui Lopez with knight f6. Jan Castles, bishop e7. Now d3, b5, okay, standard stuff. Oh, live world champion, folks, let's go, let's go. Who are y'all rooting for? You know, we have emotes of both players. We got a Nepo emote and a Ding emote. And those are there for you guys to announce your allegiance and cheer for your horse. Okay, a4, bishop d7, huh? So defending the rook on a8. Normally the bishop on b7 is not considered very effective against the d3, e4 structure. So Ding puts it on d7, h3, restricting any kind of bishop g4 anyway. Castles, bishop e3 also. Notice white has stopped knight g4. Okay, Nepo looking quite all right. Seems like Ding is the first one out of his preparation. Not familiar with this move. And, oh, Nepo's not even looking at the board. Oh, he's still in his prep. He's like, wow, he doesn't know this move. Okay. Okay, I guess we're going to get a little time advantage here in this game for Nepo. Yeah, you know, I don't mind either player winning today. I don't have anything against either person. But, yeah, if I had to pick, I'd probably choose Nepo myself. I just feel like he deserves it a little bit more. And I also think he'd be kind of a more fun world champion. You know, we'll get more tweets from Nepo probably about stuff. So I feel like Nepo would be a cool world champion. Okay, we have moves. So knight a5 played, bishop a2 blitzed, and now b takes a4. So black has grabbed this pawn, but normally taking this pawn doesn't mean too much in this structure. These a pawns are super weak. It's very hard to use them. So bishop d2 hitting the knight. Now black can either bring the knight back or play c5 to defend it. I guess the main drawback to playing c5 is that you give up the d5 square for the rest of the game. And yeah, these a pawns are not really gonna worry nobody. So I think Nepo here is playing for a small advantage as white. Very, very small. It'll be Interesting to see what he can make of this. Thanks for following. Thanks for following. It's our first World Championship stream. It was hard. It was hard. You know, I wanted to sleep, but also I wanted to wake up and witness history. Still don't know if we made the right call, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, Ding drops back, knight c6. Then on knight c3, black is going to have a serious question about what he wants to do with that pawn. Maybe knight d4 or something. Trade this guy off. Looks like Nepo is thinking for the first time. Ooh, he just made a face. He just made one of these. So that means that knight c6 was not in his preparation. It's probably not good. But he doesn't seem to immediately understand why. So he's speculating at the board. He's being like Fry from Futurama in that meme where he's like squinting, trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, knight c3 played. Yep, most natural move. Makes sense. Hitting the pawn, heading for that d5 square. And let's see what Ding is going to do. He could seemingly play a3, just give the pawn back, but at least force white to weaken his own structure in taking it back. To me, that seems playable. And then try to play rook to b8 from there. I'm not sure what Ding is going to do. Knight d4, like I mentioned, is also kind of playable. Hey, we got Mitch. Well, what'd you miss? First things first, we made it. So congrats. We made it. Game 1, draw. Actually, I should add the score to my uber professional layout here. All right, where's my text at? Here we go. What are we going to call it? Score? Score. 0.5, 0.5. Or another way to say it would be 1-1. 1-1. Morning, morning. So knight c3, Ding thinking. Yeah, first game Ding played 3c3, reverse Slav. So, yeah. Lack of ideas with white continues. Or I should say the merry-go-round of white's options. Now he's played e3, he's played early c3. Yeah, he just hasn't played like Trompowsky and like Torre and stuff like that. That's all that is left for Ding to try at this point. Yeah, exactly. We got a Rui in this game. Should I realize these clocks, huh? These clocks could be tighter. Excuse me 1 second. Ooh, we're going to have to sneeze here real soon. That's better. I feel like the clocks look a little better now. Ding going for his first thing. Now here's the thing about the time control they're playing. They're playing 25 plus 10, which I feel like feels kind of slow. Like at the start of the game, you really have a lot of time. But I would imagine you don't want to fall below your opponent too much. So if Ding goes down to something like 16 minutes here, right, then a couple minutes go by, it's like 20 versus 10, 15 versus 5. You know, it can get very, very unpleasant. Very unpleasant. How many playoff games are there? There's going to be 4 playoff games. It's 25-10. This is game 2. And then if it's drawn after 4 games, it's going to be 2 games of 5 plus 3. And then if it's drawn after those 2 games, it's going to be 1 game of 3 plus 2. switching colors until there's a winner. Which is fine. You know, some people are criticizing like, oh, it's going to be decided in blitz, and it's only going to be 1 3+2 game, and whoever gets white in that game gets a big advantage because they're just going to flip for it. But you know, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, by that point, it's like 6 games already that are drawn. So you got to flip a coin and see who gets white in that first game. And yeah, and then I don't think white is necessarily going to have such a huge advantage in a 3+2 game. I just feel like both players are going to be so nervous that color won't make a huge difference. But that said, I would prefer if they did like a tennis thing where it's like 2 games of 3+2, you know, see best of 2, and then if it's drawn, you just keep playing like 2 more games. Like in tennis, like in the 5th set, they just play like extra games, right? They don't even go to the tiebreak. They just play extra games. So the 5th set can last like forever. But then it's kind of fun. You know, both players get exhausted. They collapse on the stage. The fans applaud. The fans are happy. I think as long as both players collapse after the events, the fans are going to be pretty happy about that. So yeah, just let them keep playing like 2 games until there's a winner. You know, if they have to play until 3 a.m., so be it. Or okay, if you have to postpone, like they play until midnight, so it's like, all right, we got to postpone until the next day and then come back and continue the tiebreak. That's fine. That's super exciting. You know, there'll be all these articles. World championship ends in a stalemate. You know, like all this funny thing. But yeah, what are we gonna get in Ding's next game? Definitely D4, knight of 6, maybe C4. Maybe he'll go for some English again, some C4, knight C3 stuff. All right, so rook B8 from Ding after a long think, hitting the pawn. Of course, white could take this pawn and just defend B2. So what's his idea here? Knight A4. Maybe he wants knight D4. Looking to trade this one off. So if takes, something like takes. No, probably just wants to recapture and then leave this knight stranded on the side of the board. Ooh, first to 6 wins, yeah, but that could definitely take a while. They would have no idea. They would have absolutely no clue. Okay. Mr. Ian Nepo is thinking. Nepo Jan goes knight A4, takes the pawn. He's like, all right, Ding, show me what you got. Ding is not showing. He's doing one of these right now. So he's thinking. He was not ready with his move yet. Okay, but if white can get away with taking this pawn, then essentially it's just a small advantage because black is going to have this isolated A pawn and have a slightly worse pawn structure, right? Because white has 1 pawn island, which is very, very solid. These pawns can all just kind of defend and support each other, while black has 2 pawn islands. And so the first one is obviously fine, but yeah, the A pawn is also on an open file, right? So it's definitely going to be a big target. White wants to go like bishop C4, B3, and just like triple on this pawn and then take it. You know, take it when the black is essentially just going to be begging white to take the pawn, begging white, please just take the pawn, just relieve me of my misery. Right, that's what white wants to do. They want to just line up on this guy. So Ding, he's hunkered down, and he's showing the same thing on the broadcast. He did one of these. Right, he made this blue, and then yeah, he's just highlighting this pawn. But yeah, that's what it's all about in this position. So Ding needs to figure out what he's going to do against that. Wow, Fabi said the players would benefit from being told this is a world championship match. Whew. Brutal. Yeah, I feel like some of these guys must be looking at the games and being like, ooh, I would clean up in this match, you know? Can you imagine if they were accurate? Whew. I mean, I think they've played their hearts out, and obviously there's a lot of pressure, which leads to the mistakes. But still, can't imagine any top player not wanting to be on there. Okay, knight d4 from Ding. He's down to 17 minutes. And yeah, now I guess I'm wondering if Black plays, if White plays. Oh, but if White plays b3, then he's really happy because he got White to close off the bishop. So maybe bishop c4 is the move here for White, allowing Black to snag on a4 and take on b2. Because this, I'm not sure if this works. White can take, go bishop b3, and then the rook feels like it's kind of trapped. So yeah, I'm not sure Black can take this pawn. Yeah, we could take on d4 first as well and do this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jan has made some very, very fast moves, very fast decisions. I mean, it's always hard, you know, the natural instinct is like, if you took that away, then maybe Nepo wouldn't be Nepo, right? You know, it's part of the genius. Part of the genius is like the quick play. But yeah, there's also part of you that just feels like, man, if he just learn to sit on his hands, you know? It's like a Russian schoolboy, this should be very natural for him. If he could just learn to like sit on his hands every once in a while, whew, he'd be like easily over 2800, right? Easily. Okay. So bishop c4 first. He doesn't take. I'm not sure why he didn't, but yeah, I also don't know if it makes a huge difference here. Maybe he played this just to kind of give Black an extra thing to calculate. Force Ding to spend more time looking at takes, rook b2. Jan has already figured out long ago that like takes, bishop b3 there, and he's doing fine. And so yeah, he just wants to force Ding to spend a little bit of time on this, like whittle his clock down, and eventually try to come up with something in this position. Well, even against Magnus, you know, Nepo definitely rushed in a couple moments and blew some games because of it. Whoa, c6. Yeah, and we got one of these from Nepo. You know, just immediate. c6. Okay, clearly playing for d5 here and busting open the center. So very, very committal move here for Ding. I don't know if it's like committal, but it's a big move. He's also leaving the a-pawn hanging. Wait, so what does he want on this one? What's going on? Does he want to just play d5 and play against the bishop here? I don't see exactly why White can't take this one. I think he can take it, but Black is going to be playing for some d5 compensation. Let's see. How do you get the players up without the eval bar? That's going to be tough. I see them on the side here. But yeah, we've got the eval bar on the chess.com broadcast. They have an eval bar next to the board and then eval bar next to the live board. So there's always an eval bar no matter what board you're looking at. There's always some eval. Surprised they don't have an eval bar next to the players, like showing their heart rate or something. You know, oh, way up, way down. I mean, hey, you know, people like bars. Okay, it's what we've learned with the Dojo training program 2.0 that's coming out May 1st tomorrow. We're very excited about it. Great transition. Is that people like progress bars. So you know what? Maybe we should just run with it. That would actually be cool to see their heart rate. See, I kind of like the heart rate thing. I saw like Armageddon Chess, they were doing it where like Wesley So, when he plays Armageddons, his heart rate is always like 150, 160, just like crazy. And And then his opponents are sometimes like 90, 100, just chilling. Just chilling. So Nepo here, yeah, he's in full concentration. Yeah, it's hard to understand this C60. I mean, it's hard to fully evaluate this. Like if takes, maybe rook a8 first, maybe d5 first, I'm not sure, but yeah, this one for example, and then d5. And then it's like, where does the bishop go? Can't go to a2. If it goes to b3, black can kind of take this guy. So yeah, we kind of get the sense of the compensation. It certainly doesn't seem like it's just a free pawn for white. Okay, Jan thinking, Nepo thinking, that's a good sign. Hey, he picked a good day to start like taking his time and not blitzing his moves. That's good. Do I see this correctly? Is Ding away from the board? Is he in the rest area? Come on, Ding, it's a rapid game. You gotta go to the rest area for the rapid game. Come on, man, you got 15 minutes on your clock. Yeah, we can get through the opening real quick. He just played knight d4. Ding will come back and go e takes d4. So here was the variation from game 2. Ruy Lopez, bishop e7, d3 variation, b5 counter variation, bishop b3 line, d6 sub variation, a4 attack, bishop d7 defense. That's the official name that they're giving it here on the chess.com. So this is the d3 b5 bishop b3 d6 a4 bishop d7 line. Okay, h3 castles, bishop e3 knight a5. Black grab this pawn, bishop d2 back, and this is how we got these complications. So takes, and bishop f4 from Nepo. Kind of an unexpected move, but he decides just not to grab that pawn. I guess if he takes, again, I feel like rook a8 might have been the problem, and then d5, and well, actually, this one I'm not sure about, because here takes, bishop b3. I don't see black's compensation. Here it just feels like white's a pawn up. Maybe he just wanted to go d5 right away, and then ask white, how are you going to get your bishop back, bro? Remember that game against Magnus where like c5, c6, bishop got trapped on b7? That could be kind of black's implication, You don't say directly, but you kind of like, you just have the implication that the bishop is going to be trapped. You guys understand? Like you don't say it's going to be, you just imply that it's going to be trapped. Anyway, has Ding ever played the Sicilian? I'm sure he has, but I don't think it's his main. Yeah, I don't think he's used it as a main weapon for forever, basically. So takes, bishop f4. Pinning the pawn, very logical move, stopping d5. And this is the live board. I mean, it feels a little unpleasant for black, right? Because you have this weakness, you have this pawn. At some point, I imagine black is pushing c5 here, but then he gives up on ever playing d5. So I feel like black would like to go d5 in this position. Now he goes bishop e6. Very interesting, offering the trade of bishops. If white takes, we'll get this structure, which is probably pretty solid for black. Then he can go e5, kind of support the pawn without giving up these light squares. He'll have the open f file as well. That feels quite reasonable for black at first glance. So I'm kind of thinking b3 from white maybe would be the response here. Just to avoid taking on black's terms, but rather supporting the c4 square and then just getting a very, very solid grip on the position. So I don't know. Yeah, I remember in the past, Ding would definitely, like, I remember him playing some French, some Caro-Kann. But yeah, I've long known him as a e4, e5 player. But most of these guys, I mean, they play the Sicilian at some point. It's just such a popular opening. It's such a dynamic opening. It's just good. It's combative. So they all play it most likely at some point. Yeah, he was a huge King's Indian player. That's true. So for many years, he played the King's Indian, and he had some wild games. So I remember thinking Ding was always, to me, just an extremely kind of tactical, hyper aggressive player, because he would play these like sharp King's Indian positions, just get these like very, very wild and complex games, outplay people. He would be very, very strong grandmasters with black. But of course, he had to solidify it up. Started playing more QGDs and stuff, and now doesn't play King's Indian too often. Okay, rook e1 from Nepo. Played with a little glance at his opponent. And now Ding is like, why is he looking at me? Is there something weird about the position? What's going on? But he's back. He's focused. Both players, by the way, went with the very kind of classic light blue traditional button-up collared shirt, Oxford kind of style. So that's cool. Very classic, very presidential look, I would say. Very world champion-esque look from both players. They're both ready to take the title today. Or who knows? I was thinking maybe one of the players realizes that the stress and the tension and the pressure of being world champion in a Magnus Carlsen chess world is just not worth it. And they'll realize that maybe they actually don't want the title, and they'll just throw the games and just lose. It'll be kind of like a searching for Bobby Fischer thing, spoiler alert. But yeah, maybe they just like, one of them just gives it up and it's like, you know what, you take it actually. You take it. I'll be fine. Because who knows? Who knows how things will turn out. You become world champion, comes with a lot of responsibility, a lot of obligations. That's what I would be doing in their position. I would just be second guessing how much I even want this thing in the first place. Like, do I really want to be a world? That's what I would be doing right now. Okay, a5 from Ding. So he saves the pawn. He shows that he still has a will to live. That's great. That's good to see. But that gives White a tempo to continue improving his position. Maybe b3 now. I'm just kind of trying to fix the light squares. It feels like nothing special for White so far, but who knows? He might get a small advantage and end up having something to grind, against Black's weak pawns. Yeah, we'll both go crazy and flee the country. Who knows what could still happen? Who knows? Maybe Nepo will stay outside of Russia. That'd be kind of cool. If from Kazakhstan he gets on a plane and goes to, Spain and just lives there. Where's Jesse? Jesse's actually playing at a tournament in, I think, Maryland. So he's definitely focusing on the tournament. And where's David? Well, for David, it's currently 3:30 a.m. So he's sleeping. He's sleeping most likely, like any rational individual at that hour that can do it. What about takes e5? Yeah, takes and e5 is always very thematic for sure. And this would be a question for Black. So there's knight d5 possible. Yeah, I think knight d5 maybe would be the first thing. And then if e takes d6, maybe knight takes f4 now. So we get some trades. Material ends up even, but Black is left with this knight on e5. Definitely like very weak structure, but very active knight on f4 and like queen coming to g5. So this is honestly kind of tricky to evaluate for me. I wouldn't be sure what's going on. Maybe rook b5, rook swings over. So it's not clear. Queen f3. So he keeps building up the pressure, threatening or implying a little queen g3. It's bishop h6 stuff. It's like that game. Remember that game Hans played against Firouzja? in the Singfield Cup, where he had this queen f3, queen g3. But on queen g3, there's always going to be knight h5. So it's definitely doesn't seem like a move White can play just yet. But Ding gets the rook off of the diagonal anyway, off of the pin. Now he can try to potentially play d5 if he wants to. Mitch, thanks for the gifted sub. Yeah, I'm sure David would watch if it was just at a better time. Like if it's honestly like the worst time for him because it starts at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. Starts at 2 a.m. Right? So you could stay up till 2 a.m. But then it's like, how long can you really watch? You can't watch the whole thing without just completely annihilating your next day. And so, yeah, if you wake up super early, like realistically, best you can do is like 5 a.m., right? Like 3 hours in. So maybe he'll join us at some point. Maybe he'll be up early. I'm sure he's super, super pumped about the tie breaks here. It's been an incredibly exciting match. But yeah, it's an awkward time for David. Ooh, and here we go, e5 from Jan. Just blasting things open. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Well, this makes sense now. Like if we get this trade, then Black's pawns are left pretty stuck. We might get something like this, right? c5. Oh no, sorry, there's no c5. Hello. That would be a yummy rook. Okay, so there would not be any c5, but even if there was one day, these pawns are just very, very fixed. You know, especially on the dark squares. So it should not be ideal for Black. But yeah, also tactically, he just can't push that pawn. So yeah, maybe takes like knight d5, something like this, just to kind of cover the diagonal, put some pieces in the center. Still feels a little more pleasant for White, but nothing huge here. Okay, knight d5 immediately played. That seems similar as well. Although e takes d6, I wonder, do we get bishop takes or... Yeah, I'm not really sure what else. So on takes, he's planning to just take back with the bishop and then offer the trade here. Yeah, Jesse's not too worried about this exhibition match. I mean, be that as it may, you know, Carlsen, he's still going to be #1 player, right, after this. It's still going to be a historic match, I think. It's still going to be a very historic event. And the winner's name will be etched in history with kind of combination pen and pencil. You know, it's not exactly etched in like stone. It's not exactly written in pencil, but it's like some kind of like hybrid, you know, semi-permanent solution probably. Jesse misses that the World Championship is not the point of the World Championship. No, the point that the World Championship is not necessarily the same thing as finding the #1 rated player or best player. No, I think Jesse kind of understands that, but it's like we can all agree that it's not an ideal situation if the world's best player isn't playing. I mean, I made my thoughts clear. I think history is the only thing that can really determine how this match will be viewed. It's not really possible to say like, oh, it's a real match, it's not a real match. Like we now know at this point, like all of the FIDE World Championships in like the 90s, like 1998, and then like the early 2000s and stuff. I mean, at the time, they were pretty much the same as this, right? It was like a FIDE World Championship, and it's totally... Oh, whoa, hold on. Let me help someone out here with something real quick. Okay, that's that. So it's like back then, it very much felt like a FIDE, World Championship, and they called it a World Championship, and they said that the winners were world champions, but people don't really consider anyone other than Kasparov, Kramnik, and Anand, to to be the world champions outside of the lineage. Dude didn't even spell it. Well, auto mod can be a bit of a party pooper, so you gotta figure it out. Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it was really different. I think at the time FIDE was running these world championships and calling them world championships, and now, I think at the time people were kind of conflicted on whether they were real or not. But now I think most people, they just see Kasparov as the world champion throughout that period because he continued to play. He did his own kind of weird world championship thing, and yeah. So for me personally, like if Magnus continues to play, he stays the number one player. Whoever is the interim world champion in the meantime, it's like, we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, because we have this lineage, right? So it's not the same thing as like, oh, you just need a world champion and you just need like a winner every year. Because we don't have world championships every year. And we've had periods where, we only had a world championship every couple of years. Yeah, Kasparov spent like 5 years between the non and Kramnik match, not defending the title. But look at history. I mean, he's not the only world champion to, let's say he sat on the title, right? Like, just look at the history. Lasker, avoided matches. Alekhine, Capablanca, all these guys like avoided, maybe not Capablanca, but all these guys like avoided matches and tried to hold on to the title and tried to change the rules to hold on to the title. How many return matches did Botvinnik get, right? Like, so the interesting thing about the World Championship system is that it's always been a lineage with its flaws and quirks. And what that means is that, Ding or Nepo here could easily become like historically like one of the classical world champions. But I think it's just like too early to tell right now. Because what also might happen is like someone wins and then next year someone else qualifies and then beats Nepo and now they're the world champion, and then someone beats that guy and then they're the world champion, and then it's only in 5 years that someone actually takes over the number one spot for Magnus and happens to win the world championship. And I think when we finally get like that reunification, then it'll kind of start to make sense like who was actually the number one in this period. And my instinct is that we're just going to look back on these years in the future and we're just going to see Magnus as being the number one. There were some interim FIDE world champions, like your Halifmans, your Ponomariovs, these players that are very, very accomplished, but, historically we might not see them as having quite the same importance, right, as like the traditional classical champion lineage. The idea that you have to beat the previous champion to take their title, or he has to be, just stop playing, right? He's just not playing anymore, so the title goes to someone else. Yeah, who knows how things play out. What if chess took on more of a UFC championship system? Yeah, what if? Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, FIDE is, of course, in charge, and they're going to decide. It's not easy. I mean, any decision you make with the World Championship, people are always going to detract and be unhappy. But you have to do something. You can't just not have a World Championship. Yeah, but the important thing is that it still is about finding the best player. That's why these FIDE World Champions now are not considered like classical, traditional world champions, is because they weren't the best player when Kasparov was still playing matches, right? It was only Kramnik that beat Kasparov. Here's my thing. Matches above everything, right? So if you lose the title in a match, that's it. You lose the title. So Kramnik, even though he's like lower rated than Kasparov, and people can argue like he was a weaker player after he beats Kasparov, that doesn't matter anymore. Matches trump everything. So if you beat someone in a match, you take their title. I think we can all agree on that. And then the question is like, okay, if the world champion is world number one by such a degree that they feel like the matches are not even worth their time anymore, can really take the title away from them. Personally, I think Magnus should only have to be forced to play a match if there's someone within like, let's say 30, 40 rating points within him, right? Like, let's let someone get over 28-30 first, and then that can kind of trigger and warrant a match, an actual match with Magnus. Until then, it's like, I totally see his viewpoint. He's got nothing to gain from such a contest. He's already kind of proven everything he needs to prove. Isn't rating a much more objective way to determine the best player, not a match? Well, yeah, I mean, that's the point I made many dojo talks ago, where I said we should just adopt, because the number one is anyway always going to have like, that importance. So we should adopt more of like a tennis system where it's just like, you don't really have like a world champion, you just have a number one, and that's the number one player. That's the title that everyone is seeking. That's the title that feels like, okay, more important anyway. And just retire the classical lineage. I'd be fine if we retire the lineage, or we just kind of keep the lineage, but we replace it instead of matches with just whoever takes like the number one spot. Then it'd be a little bit different, of course. But look, that's the thing that makes chess different from other sports, is that it's not just we have this like yearly world championship and someone has to win. We don't have yearly world championships. We have like a world championship cycle. It's kind of like in boxing. It's like you have a world champion and they need to be unseated, right? Their belt needs to be taken from them. That's kind of important. At least that's always been the history. But I'm open to changing the format, The format has changed historically. Times they are changing. So, chess has always changed the format. So you're allowed to continue changing it. But the format has long been changed. Okay, well, let's get back to the game. So we had some trades. It felt like white kept some edge in this endgame with the structure. But now d3, Ding is blasting everything open. And if things start liquidating, we're going to get a rook endgame. And that one feels very, very, very drawish. Yeah, so I feel like it's still a very important match. It's a very historic match. But yeah, ultimately, we're not really going to know. Because, again, we're living in the Carlsen era right now. And it's very different to previous situations. Fischer, he stopped playing. Alekhine passed away while he was in office. So yeah, when something like that happens, it's like, all right, you need a new world champion. But and also the lineage, wasn't really broken. With Fischer, it's clear that Karpov was going to be his challenger. That Karpov was kind of like the next generation. So when he didn't play the match, it was very natural that Karpov was the successor. Whereas here, it's like there's no clear successor. It's not like, like Firouzja qualifies for the match and he's like 28-15, and then Magnus says, you know what, it's not worth it for me to play. Then Firouzja would have an argument. Then Firouzja would be like, well, I get the title then, because he's not willing to play me. Is the idea c3 d2? Maybe. Takes and then knight e2 check, knight c1. Yeah, or even takes like, oh no, rook e8 would be met with king f1. Yeah. So that's possible, c3 d2. But also c3 feels like even if black just moved the rook, then this d pawn would be very, very annoying for white. White would have to be super careful to deal with it. Well, yeah, of course. That's the big difference with Fischer. He stopped playing, right? So obviously you can't hold on to the title if you stop playing. Nor can you hold on to the people's title. So right now, Carlsen has given up, the official title, but he's very much, I think, holding on to the people's title. But that's fine. I mean, I think it'll be cool. We're going to live in this like kind of controversial chess world where some people think Carlsen is the world champion. Some people are going to say, Nepo or Deng are the world champion. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't think controversy kills the sport. I think it's fun. There will always be something to discuss. It'll be the new table talk. People maybe ask me like, so who's the world champion? Is it Magnus or is it? It'll be a good time. But for me, it's like until someone takes over as number one, it's going to be very hard to switch Magnus out, of the lineage. All right, Rook C6, Knight E5. Yeah, it feels like things are headed towards Vacuumville. Black now hitting this one. Of course, Rook is under attack. Let's see. How does White... Yeah, it's hard to see how White puts pressure here. Rook C5, Knight takes. If you go Rook C1, then Black can take. Rook takes. Trade. And that would be very draw, right? Very, very drawish. Let's say. Takes here. Here, everything kind of liquidates. Rook C5. And then very important, you do something like H6. Imagine you go Rook takes B2, I for a draw, and then you just get mated. Oh my God. That would be insane if the World Championship was decided like that. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Forecast chances of that are very small. Rook C7 play, Knight takes C4. And yeah, unless Nepo finds some kind of huge move here, this feels like game 2 is also going to be a draw. So buckle in, folks. That means we have 2 25-10 games after this, if this game ends in a draw. And yeah, nothing's guaranteed. Someone might win that game and then draw the 4th game and win outright. Okay, Knight C5. Giving Black an option here to take on B2. And give up the A-pawn. Oh, they're pointing out this trick. If Rook takes B2, there's Knight D7. Ooh. The win. Because if Rook D8 takes, you can't take the knight yet. Because of the puzzle rush. But I think Black can probably take on B2 with the knight. As he does. They've now equalized on the clocks. Nepo here, spending his time. Very professional. Good job, Nepo. Knight D7 anyway, just to show that he saw the idea. Hitting the rook. But yeah, it doesn't feel too dangerous for Black here. I feel like he can put the rook almost anywhere. I guess he's kind of inviting Rook A8, so Rook takes A5. But even this, I don't think would be that scary. I think Black can just move the rook over, and he'd still be okay. Maybe White wants to do something like this, right? Just to put a little bit of pressure. You can't put the rook on F8 just yet. I got 95 or something somewhere, but I'm sure Black would be able to defend Rook E2 and Knight D3. Should be all right here. So Knight D7, Rook E8 on the board. Rook takes A5. And they're still playing. This move was not accompanied with a draw offer, as one might expect. I think they're allowed to offer draws. I know yesterday I was so disappointed. Nepo, he offered a draw in that position after Rook takes F4. The board was like, all the pieces are coming off. It's literally, they're about to just take everything off, reach bare kings. It was like Rook takes Rook on F4. Ding is about to take back. Then there's one H-pawn that he's going to give up. And then they're just left with king versus king. And they didn't play king versus king. It's like that. It's a 9-hour game. Whole chess world is like watching. Like, oh, it's an interesting game. Game 14. Are they going to draw, go to a tiebreak? Is someone going to win? Nepo putting pressure. And then after all that, they don't even play out to bare kings. I mean, unbelievable. It's like the players have no sense of the spectacle or like what's going on. Like people are watching, it's like they're just doing their own thing. It's like, come on, guys, if you're, the game's gonna last forever. Just finish it off. Finish it off. Right? If your opponent is mating you next move, just let them checkmate. Just make one more move. All right? If it's gonna be king versus king in like literally 2 seconds, I'm not saying play this out till king versus king. Right here, it's like, all right, if you guys want to agree to a draw, I have zero issues with that. But if it's like you're 2 moves away, just end the game. It's like, what's the point? They would benefit from being told it's a world championship match. Exactly. Fabi was correct. Fabi was right. Okay, Rook G5. Ooh, setting up the threat of the season. Knight of 6 check. Ding working very hard not to blunder this. He's like, all right, I have H6. I have this move. I have a bunch of rook moves. I have king H8. So many moves. How am I going to deal with this threat? Yeah, that'd be an interesting rule, like the no resign rule. The issue with the no resign rule is that you're going to get situations where players are ready to resign, but they're not allowed to. And so from there, the most logical thing is to just start giving away all your pieces and trying to just literally self-goal, right? Self-score for your opponent. Just be like, okay, I'm down a piece, you win, let's, finish up the game. So then the finishes would be very strange, right? Because you would have players that are no longer trying to put up the stiffest resistance. By the way, I just saw on the video, Nepo jogged to the bathroom. He got up and he started running. He started jogging because he's only got 5.5 minutes on his clock. And Ding, the tricky guy, he plays a move. When your opponent's in the bathroom in a blitz game, you always make a move because you don't know how long they're going to be there. You don't know if their clock might run out or what's going on. So you just make a move and you hope for the best. So very good practical strategy from Ding. He doesn't use the clock while his opponent is in the restroom. And now Nepo's clock is ticking. Nepo must have been pretty sure it's going to be a short visit. Sometimes like, okay, this is just a 1 minute thing. Just in and out. Just like one quick rinse at the, you go number 1, quick rinse at the sink. And he's back. All right, let's see. Are the hands wet? Hands don't seem too wet. Hands don't seem too wet, Nepo. Did you wash your hands? He didn't have time to wash and fully dry his hands, right? So I'm just wondering what's going on there. Hands did not seem super wet. Hair didn't seem wet either. When you're at the sink, normally wet. I'm not trying to spread rumors, guys, okay? Please, I'm not trying to spread rumors. I'm just saying from where I'm sitting, thousands of miles away, watching a very small screen, his hands didn't look dripping with water to me, okay? That was my story. That's what I saw. And I think Ding is now thinking the same thing because he's like, his hands aren't wet. What's going on here? I mean, he's trying to focus on the game clearly, but I feel like he's second guessing the whole situation. Yeah, maybe they have very high-tech bathrooms where it's like you got the clean escape. You guys know about the clean escape in the bathroom? A lot of diners have them, where it's like you got a little toggle by the door that you hit with your foot, and then it opens the door. Yeah, Ding's now worried. He doesn't want to trade, doesn't want to touch anything, but they're still playing here. They're still playing. So rook d6, rook f5. Nepo here needs to make sure he doesn't allow something. Sanitize like a GM. Exactly. Let's see. Did this hit Chess Twitter yet? Did Nepo wash his hands? Question mark. By the way, guys, we're probably going to get a second draw in this game. So check this out. 2 games in the Rapid Playoff, 2 draws. Huh? What's going on? Is Rapid Chess dead? You know, draw death. I think we need to institute some rules. Because 2 draws, that's too many now. Time to institute some draw rules. Rapid Chess is dead. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Okay, Rook B7, hitting the knight. You know, he's posing some questions, right? Knight D5, Rook B5. You know, and then Knight E3, and then trade. But then you got to take back, but you got to touch White's rook. You got to touch his rook that touched his hand that wasn't wet when he came out of the bathroom. So, you know, it's a restroom gambit here that the players are playing. Rook D5. Oh. But Nepo avoids the trades. Wow, look at this psychological ploy. He's like, I know you don't want to trade pieces, but I'm also going to keep pieces on the board. Now I think he's implying that there's going to be some Rook B8 here. So Rook D8. Very technical. Very technical. Yeah, but yeah, it's too many draws in the rapid time format. You know, they need to bring back the classical if they want to make things exciting for the chess fans. The fans want to see decisive games. Clearly, those only happen in classical chess when the players have enough time to take risks and make mistakes. Here, without a lot of time, you know, they don't want to lose a game, trying to keep everything very solid. I get it. I get it. Okay, now is there anything White can do? This move definitely is like, all right, it's time. Come on, let's end the game. Because now it's like, all right, you're offering the trade of knights. If we get like a single rook endgame, okay, they're not gonna play it out, of course, or any kind of double rook endgame. Knight f6 check. That's a good question, but yeah, basically this would be a shake hand situation because these double pawns in the rook endgame are actually very, very easy to hold. Now, so if there's pawns on both sides of the board, then it could be a problem. But when there's only pawns on one side of the board, these pawns are actually not an issue at all with just the single rooks. Okay, looks like they've traded knights. And yeah, I can't imagine they're gonna play this for very long. This is really, really solid. Bring back adjournment. Yeah, adjourn in this situation. Man, he's still, Nepo's still making moves. Doing his best Carlsen impression here. Carlsen does this too sometimes where he just kind of plays a position. All right, looks like they're finally repeating. And draw agreed. Nepo offered. I saw his lips move. He's like, draw. So they repeated a bunch of times. Draw agreed. And that's game 2, folks. Game 2 ends in a draw. Rapid Chess is dead. Let's update the score. 1-1. 1-1. Folks, I could have told you it was 1-1. Remember after game 1, I was like, it's 1-1. Even though it was only one game done. So technically, you could also say this is like 2-2. Okay, draw agreed. Oh, that's why I had the clocks like a little bit. Because then with the draw thing, you need a little bit more. Need a little more room here. Okay, there we go. All right, folks, we're gonna take quick second here. Am I gonna take a break? I think I'm good. I think we can chill. I might take a break in a second. Game 2 draw. Game 3, I guess, is going to start in a couple minutes. They started game 2 relatively quickly after the first game. So, yeah, that's cool. Okay, game 2. Let's see if I can play it from the beginning for anyone that missed it. It's like a tennis match. Except every game is like a perfect rally, right? Oh, it's echoing a bit. Yeah, because it's coming from my speakers. I apologize. This is so fun. All right. Good game. Good rally. Good rally. Let's go. Let's go. Good job to both players. Whew. That was fun. That's the speed the players want to play. Yeah, exactly. All right, what's going on here? Oh, they're adjusting the banner on the board, the FIDE, Unstoppable Minds. I guess we're going to find out which one of these minds wasn't truly stoppable. Because we were promised 2 unstoppable minds, but I feel like one of these minds is going to stop. I feel like both minds are honestly going to stop after today. I wouldn't be surprised if both players were just done. I mean, what an exhausting event. I'm tired. I mean, I didn't even play. I barely watched the games live. You know, it was too early. I woke up and followed, and I'm exhausted. I mean, this match has just been back and forth. Nepo winning, Ding coming back. Nepo winning, Ding coming back. Nepo winning again, Ding coming back again. And now we're here at the tiebreak. I mean, geez Louise. Wow, you've been stressed. I can't say I've been stressed. You know, it doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, it's exciting. Okay, looks like we have about 3 minutes before the next game. Okay, I'm gonna take a very quick Nepo break. Refresh myself. I'll be right back. I promise to have wet hands when I return, and I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, folks, are we back? Are we back with the Unstoppable Minds? Let's see, game 3, ready to go. Ding Liren with the white pieces, Ian Nepomniachtchi with the black pieces. You see, guys, look, this is what hands look like when, you know, they were just recently washed and they were quickly dry, right? There's some glistening. You can just tell, like, they're wet, they're moist, there's water on them, okay? That's what washed hands look like. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not saying this is the biggest or even the second biggest controversy of the match. I'm just saying it's a story, all right? That's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Looks like they're playing the montage. I'm just kind of assuming, I know chess.com doesn't have like the official broadcast. I'm just assuming they kind of know what they're doing with the timing. So they're playing the montage. I think game 3 is going to be starting soon. What do you guys think? Are we going to see D4, C4? Ooh, we should do a prediction for game 3. Prediction. Start prediction. Game results. Ding wins. Draw. Nepo wins. Let's see how much time do you guys get. Submission period, 5 minutes. 5 minutes to guess the outcome. What's going to be the opening? Ooh, A3. A3 time. Yeah. D4, knight f6, knight f3, D5. Critical position. Can't go C4. Too risky. A3. A3. Let's go. Let's go. Or are we going to see the bird with F4? No, F4. Maybe he'll go F4 and like point up to the stance. I know, he just wants to like make every move playable. D4, knight F3, that's solid, that's good. They're good with that. And then yeah, bishop F4, maybe bishop G5, maybe a little Torre. He could do a Catalan without C4. I'm not sure if he's tried that. That's a thing. That's a thing. But then eventually you got to decide, are you going to play C4 or not, boss? Yeah, Catalan, very possible. Rob, less so. Less so. But yeah, I gotta say, if we see G4, probably G4 or D5. I don't think Nepo's gonna mess around with G4, G5. Probably he's not up to date on the Grob-Borg theory. The Grob-Borg attack. 25% chance of Catalan, 25% chance of Carlsen. Yeah. What if they have Magnus, to make the first move? Like, here, Magnus, you make the first move. Oh, okay, I don't mind if I do. All right, both players at the board. Another handshake. How many handshakes do you think we're going to get today? Because it's going to be like, I guess they're shaking hands before and after each game. So that's like that's like 8 handshakes, at least, from the 4 rapid games. Probably they shook hands at the start. They just shook hands twice before the start of this game. They shook hands when Nepo sat down at the board. They already saw each other. One knight F3, and then they shook hands at the start. So there's already 2 handshakes at the start of this game. Knight F3, G3. Hey, let's go. That's what I said. Catalan without C4. All right, but we might still see C4. So we'll see. We'll see. This could be King's Indian attack still if he played D3. Oh, he goes for C4. Neo-Catalan. B3, double fianchetto from Ding. Let's go. This is a pretty serious system. This I would say we can just put this in the Catalan family. A little Catalan ready, very, very similar. C5 takes. Now knight takes D5 or ED. I feel like knight takes D5 is actually pretty solid. Yeah, knight D5 played. If ED5, you got to contend with D4 here as black, where I think white gets potentially a very nice version of playing against the isolated queen pawn. So knight takes D5, knight C6. Now the point here for black is usually to go bishop F6 and trade off the bishops on the diagonal. So Ding goes D4 anyway. CD4. Knight takes D4. Takes. And now queen takes D4, bishop F6. It's very solid, very, very solid. I feel like white gets a tiny, tiny plus here in the position, but not much. Definitely not much. Yeah, this seems very much up Ding's style. Certainly wouldn't have been too surprising to see this in the classical portion. And here Ding's thinking. So clearly he's thinking about bishop takes D4, which also seems playable. I kind of thought this was the main line. Queen D4, bishop F6, queen D2. And then trying to put the queen on B2, where it's quite nice. And then if queen F6, then you get this endgame. But this endgame, I feel like this would be mildly unpleasant for black. Knight comes to C4, you got rook C1, rook D1, knight D6. This bishop is exerting pressure on the diagonal. This bishop would have a hard time developing. So it'd be a real question if black is in time, to develop with like rook B8, I don't know, knight C4, bishop D7, rook C1, something like this. But this I would feel like white certainly has some plus. So I don't think after bishop F6, yeah, I'm not sure if queen F6 is necessarily the only move here. Maybe just B6, bishop B7. Something like this. Nepo, he's working round the clock to try to finish the game with over 30 minutes, huh? Yeah. Well, the 10-second increment, it is possible. It's possible. But looks like he might be away from the board. That's why we haven't seen an instant response from Nepo, because I mean that's a pretty serious threat. And believe me, folks, he's not going to go G6 here in this position. It's not exactly a G6 position. Bishop F6 is going to get played when he returns. Is he trying the bathroom thing again? Is he going to come back with dry hands and just really just torment Ding? Ding's like, what's going on? You got 25 minutes on your clock, dude. Why are his hands not moist? Why are his hands not moist? I don't know. But now Nepo, he's spending a little bit more time. He's not back yet. Maybe he's just a very thorough dryer. That's possible. Maybe he's like, yeah, he's just really one of these guys. He uses a lot of paper towels. He does the Dyson thing. Maybe he just goes and he's a two-timer. Like he runs the machine twice, because like you hit it once, it's like 30 seconds. Maybe he hits it a second time too. Wow, knight f4 now. So bishop f6 played as expected. He's back now at the board. Queen d2, knight f4. What a move. What a move from Nepo. Blitzed out too, showing that he's in his preparation. And looks like another, as they say, childish preparation, huh? From Team Ding. Do I really think FIDE would get them a Dyson? Yeah, no, Kazakhstan. Oh yeah, they're huge on the Dyson. Yeah. They're fanatics over there. They can't get enough. Yeah, every building has a Dyson in Kazakhstan. A very cool move. Obviously, he's hitting this e2 pawn with check. So if queen takes d8, then there's knight takes e2 check, and then black can recapture the queen. And if gf, then of course black is trading, and then the bishop ends up hanging as well here, folks, right? So that's what's going on. Now it feels like white should be fine, but there are some tricks in the position. For example, takes. If you go knight c3 here, then black can play queen takes c3. Hello. But I think this would actually be fine, because in response, white would not recapture and go down a full piece, but rather just take this one. And then here I would say, if anyone, it's white who's better, because he still has this this bishop pressure, the Catalan. So I'm kind of curious. Takes. Knight c3. But here probably black takes on g2. That would be my guess. And then plays with bishop versus knight. And I think black would be very, very happy here. Very, very happy. So yeah, Ding is in the tank. He's got to figure out how to deal with this, because black currently has a threat to take here, take on b2. So he's got to figure this out. So he just goes gf. Interesting. He gives up the dark squared bishop to go for the endgame. That makes sense. Nepo's going to have to go queen takes d. And he's away from the board again. Man, how many times is he going to go to the bathroom and not wash his hands? I mean, that's like, it seems like a lot, right? See, I wonder if we're going to get another toilet gate situation after the match, huh? Is Team Ding going to appeal? Be like, he just kept going to the bathroom and then his hands were never wet and just drove me crazy. Okay, rook d1. So white gave up the two bishops, but I think white can still claim at least a small advantage here, because this bishop is very strong. Whoops, hitting a7. This knight is coming in. Again, knight c4, knight d6. So black could end up under some pressure here. There are some famous Catalan games where white wins an endgame with this knight against this bishop. There's a famous game, you guys, maybe some of you heard, Ribli-Karpov, I believe it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ribli white against Karpov, where he wins a very nice knight versus bishop endgame. Giri, I remember, won a very nice endgame against Leko, knight versus bishop. So these games do get won sometimes. Absolutely. Okay, but yeah, these guys got both got plenty of time in the end game here, so I think we're gonna see them slow down. Nepo now, he's in full thinking mode. Bishop f6. Doesn't seem too concerned. But I don't know. I would think there's still some pull in this game. I don't think it's just going to be a quick draw. I mean, who knows? We'll see. But to me, it feels like White has at least some pressure here. Knight e4, knight c4. Definitely some questions that Black will have to answer. Like knight c4, for example. First question: what are you going to play? It's your move. What do you play here as Black? Right? Maybe rook b8. Let's say rook b8. Then maybe White comes in with knight d6. Maybe knight a5. Let's say knight d6. Rook d8. I think Black has to do something like this. Just kind of play a bit slow. Then White builds up, rook d2, rook fd1, rook c1, rook c7. I think it's very easy to drift into a difficult position here as Black. And then once you're in a difficult position, you're in the zone of one mistake, right? You're in the zone where one mistake and all of a sudden, you've gone from a difficult position to an unpleasant one, And if you make another mistake, right, you go from difficult to unpleasant, you make another mistake from there. Now you've gone past unpleasant, you're now into dangerous territory, right? And then you're into playing for two results territory, right, for the opponent. So, yeah, any slip, any inaccuracy here just leads to a potentially difficult situation for Nepo here as Black. So I wouldn't be shocked if Ding ends up, getting a little pressure here, getting a little squeeze on. But we'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's see what we got. Rook b8, knight e5 played. Ooh. Offering a bishop endgame that I don't think is going to be accepted. This would be very, very nice for White. Can't develop this guy. Rooks are coming in. I mean, White would just have a ton of nice strategic advantages here. So we're very, very unlikely to see that, I think. But instead, how do you develop? Because if you push your b pawn, you allow knight c6. Kind of annoying. Yeah, I always feel so sophisticated, huh? Calling a position pleasant. Pleasant for a peasant. Yeah. Yes. Can't quite slurp with this cup as much as I would have liked. But yeah. Exactly. No, Black, yeah, still has some questions to answer, There's more questions left here for Black. White's questions are a lot more pleasant. White has these kinds of questions. Do you want chocolate ice cream or strawberry? Whereas Black's questions are a little bit, more uncomfortable. Like, yeah, how much of a deduction are you going to take this year, boss? Right? Those are the differences between the two questions that, the players are answering. It's like White gets, kind of a nice choice. Oh, do you want mint chocolate or some pistachio or maybe a bit of raspberry sherbet? And then the questions for Black are like, it's like, this much in taxes. Do you want to pay more in taxes now or more in taxes later? It's like, yeah, do you want to get a cavity check now or do you want to get a root canal in a year? Right? That's the question that the Nepo is facing. Because there's going to be no easy defense here. But he has to play something. Yeah, rook d8 seems playable. I don't quite see the issue with the rook d8. Just trying to trade off a pair of pieces. I mean, the main thing is like, all right, white will trade and then take over the d file. But the question is, for the commentator now, a question for us is whether white can really do anything with this rook on the d file. I'm not really sure. Let's say bishop e7 here, bishop c7. How does white exactly take advantage of this? Is not so obvious. Black is ready to go king f8, f6, slowly develop. If rook c1 trying to come in, that would be something, but I think just bishop d6, just covering the square, patiently defending, and yeah, it's not clear how white makes progress. So we're gonna have to see. Rook d8 on the board. All right, we called it Nepo doing one of these. When he feels like, okay, should be easy draw, but he's a little nervous. He's not sure. Yeah, if knight d7. So the thing is, it's a good question. Kind of glossed over that. If knight d7, black would have a choice. You could consider just moving the rook and just saying that white has no follow-up move here. And I actually think that would be reasonable because I don't see how white continues. And you could just say like, okay, what's your next move? But you could also consider taking, and going for the position with opposite colored bishops. Now there is a secondary question here because here it feels like white is probably going to be winning a pawn. So at least white would get something. But yeah, even this I would imagine is not going to be a huge achievement. For instance, let's say bishop f6 or king somewhere. White takes the bishop to avoid a rook trade. And then, rook d8, for example. To me, this feels extremely drawish. Like 95, 98%. If you trade rooks, it's probably an immediate draw. If you don't trade rooks, then let's say black goes g6 or maybe rook d2 first. I don't know, something like this. Then brings the king out. To me it feels like black should have enough here. I don't know, rook a8. This one actually is a little. This one would be a little tricky, possibly. But we have rook d8 on the board. I'm sure we'll see bishop takes. And then, to me it feels like there's not going to be a ton. But of course there's not a ton no matter what white does. So knight d7 kind of possible. But then also what if black just ignores the knight completely? And then it's like, oof, where do you go from there? So takes. This is the live position. Rook d1 played. Of course, rook d1 very natural. Just asking the question, where does the bishop want to go? And actually some options here. You could go bishop c7, bishop e7, bishop f6 is possible, bishop b6. To me, this feels like the most likely. This is second, this is third, and then this is fourth. It's kind of my rankings here. So this is number 1, this is number 2. This is number 3. This is number 4. Wait, let's do red arrow here, yellow arrow here, yellow square. Okay, does this make clear to everyone where I think the bishop is going to go? There's 4 options, okay? There's blue, there's green, there's red, and there's yellow. I didn't quite color code them with what the colors normally, like usually red would probably not be a good, but here I feel like the red square is actually pretty good. Also the colors, they kind of bleed over. Maybe this should be red. Bishop e7. He went with red. do you do red arrow? Ah, like this with the control. The control. What went into the color ranking decisions? I was just trying to remember I knew which ones, how to do all the 4 different colors. Because, it gets confusing. You got your red, your green, your yellow, then you got blue. Who can keep track? Yeah, blue means super go. Like green means go, and then blue is like super go. But yeah, bishop e7 played. Now Ding is thinking. A lot of new viewers today, huh? It's great. World Championship always brings out the best of the chess community. Everyone excited to follow the games live. What a time, huh? What a time to be awake. I was going to say alive, but lots of people are alive. What a time to be awake, huh? And knight d7 on the board. Hey, PB guessed this one. Nice. Knight d7 on the board. But I generally don't know if Nepo's going to take or go rook a8. To me, both feel playable. Now, this is a real question. We were talking about the ice cream question. Like, this is a real question because it's like you want, as the defender, to go for the opposite color bishops, but you're losing a pawn. So psychologically, it doesn't feel great. So rook a8 is then the other move, but then psychologically, it feels a little weird. It's like you're putting your rook in the corner. White has this like bishop that's putting pressure. I don't know where white goes from here, so it's kind of the thing. And now both players away from the board. Nepo's not there. He's not making a move. And Ding also decided to... Man, did Ding do one of those things where it's like your opponent's not at the board a lot, so you kind of go to the bathroom and be like, hey, what's going on, right? I feel like Ding is like confused, like, hey, come on, are we playing chess here, or are we just making moves in between bathroom visits? All right, is it a bathroom break or is it a chess break? After rook a8, can't white just play a bunch of slow moves? Well, which moves exactly? Because the rook is obviously tied down to the knight. So, I'll give you the floor, Shawnee. What would you like to play as white? Just like you can just make moves, and it's like, where do you? I guess you can start pushing your pawns, but black has moves as well. They got f6, they can bring the king, so it's not like black can't improve the position either. Yeah, I guess they're kind of analyzing a similar thing on the chess.com broadcast. A4, a5, and f6. King comes in. So he does take. He decides not to suffer with the rook a8, but rather to suffer in this position. And Mitch had a line here. So, yeah, if takes, king f8, bishop b7, right? Rig d8. You can also consider a5 here. Let's say this one. Rook c7, check, king g2, bishop d6. Yeah, there'll still be some moves here, like there's rook d7, there's rook c8, but king f8 on the board. But right, white could still continue here with something like this. But yeah, I don't know if white 100% holds on to the pawn. So here and here, for example. Here. But okay, if you get something like this, I actually had an endgame like this last year, not super long ago, and I had the extra pawn in the opposite color bishop endgame, and it was just impossible to do anything against this like kind of fixed structure. So a lot of times, the opposite color bishops, even if you have an extra pawn, it's very much just like a symbolic extra pawn, and it literally means very little. But here, for example, rook d2, I think would draw the game up, just forcing the rooks off. So this feels very, very safe for black. King f8 played, takes, rook d8, rook c7. Nepo doesn't seem too concerned being down a pawn. And yeah, I like this check and bishop d6 idea because it kind of frees the king. You could also play rook d2, but then I feel like this would be a little annoying. You know, something like that. Yeah, a5 also possible. It's fair. a5 played. Yeah, bishop d6, I guess, was a move as well. But maybe rook c4 would have been the response. So I don't think black is getting the pawn back here by force necessarily. But I also don't think black needs to, because it's just strategically very, very difficult for white to actually use the extra pawn. Like, how are you going to get a3, b4 in? Very, very hard to imagine. In fact, there are some positions where if you can picture black having an extra pawn on the king side, let's say this pawn was gone, or this one was on g3 and this one was gone. So let's say it was like 4 versus 3 on the king side, 2 versus 1 on the queen side. Then I would actually say black is better because white's majority is kind of fixed, very hard to push, whereas black's 4 versus 3 would still be quite mobile. In fact, Karpov won some very nice games demonstrating this concept, where he would have the opposite color bishops and he would have a slightly more mobile pawn majority, and then he would use this and kind of massage this to his advantage. Okay, folks? Just because it's 6:30 a.m. doesn't mean the dojo can't be instructive, all right? That's how we do things over here. But with black being down a pawn, of course, I don't think black can, really ever play for a win here, but it does make me feel like black is going to be at least okay. You put the bishop on b4, and then, yeah, very, very hard for white to make progress. He's going to have to really, black would have to make, I think, some serious concessions or mistakes from here to go wrong. Any chance of another exchange Spanish? I mean, yeah, I feel like there's always chances. I'm not really sure what Nepo is thinking, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, in the meantime, I'm going to chill here. I think this game is going to proceed slowly. I'm going to start thinking about breakfast. It's definitely too early for breakfast, but at least we're going to start considering our options, yeah? It's a little early, but maybe we can get some breakfast going, maybe some avocado toast. That would really make this a real World Championship Sunday. You guys know what I mean? All right, who's up? Does DoorDash respect the World Championship? Seems like they do a little bit. There are some breakfast options available. Not a lot of avocado toast from what I can tell. Sometimes you just gotta search it. Sometimes you just gotta search and then just see what comes up. Starbucks. Okay, don't lie to me. All right, I know you want to, show me some options, but don't tell me Starbucks has avocado toast. I know they don't. I 100% know they do not. All right, so please do not condescend to me. Unbelievable, this guy. Unbelievable. Cooking stream. Yeah, maybe sometime. Anyway. We'll deal with it later. I don't think we're ready to eat yet, in any case. Nepo looking around. Or off to the side, I should say. Yeah, I wish I could do like a taste test of the different avocado toast, because there's quite a few, in this area. There's some different coffee shops, and they have their different styles and different like toasts that they use. Some use like more of like a longer piece. Some do like a traditional square. Some will do like an egg on top, right, which is this whole thing. Some will just do like some tomatoes and seeds. So there is some very very different avocado toasts around here. Maybe I should do a stream where I get one from all the local places and just kind of do a mix and compare. Tim Hortons has avocado. Wow, that's crazy. I know Dunkin' Donuts introduced one recently, which was wild. I tried it. It wasn't too bad. I mean, considering it was like $3, it's like 30% of the price of the average avocado toast, coming in at $3. But yeah, I didn't know about Tim Hortons. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, St. Louis has become very, I feel like it's becoming more and more Californified lately. Like we're definitely getting a lot of like hip coffee shops, acai places, smoothie bowls, avocado toasts, lavender rose lattes, that kind of thing. It's a great time to be awake. Toast and Marmite? Is that a thing? What's this Marmite? I've never had it. Why has Marmite been discontinued is the top question. Oh, it's like Vegemite. I heard of Vegemite, but I never tried Vegemite. It's a UK thing, huh? Is it similar to brown sauce, or is brown sauce like a completely different thing? So I've heard of brown sauce. I'm not completely, especially when it comes to food, not completely geographically dim-witted, or whatever the phrase is. Oh, soy sauce is probably the closest thing. Oh, wow. Soy sauce is very different. Really? Soy sauce? Toast and soy sauce? That doesn't seem right. Are you sure it was toast? Are you sure it wasn't noodles? Like a paste? You checked. Stir fry for breakfast. Oh yeah, that sounds good. I've been thinking about different breakfasts lately because avocado toast is fine. It's not always the most filling thing, right? But this local cafe, they have like this breakfast bowl, which is, I think the base is quinoa. And normally I'm not like a huge quinoa guy. It's just not my favorite flavor. Of course, you have to like add stuff to it, I think, to make it work. But I don't mind it if it's like, some salad or like some quinoa, like some cherry tomatoes, this kind of thing, some greens, some lemon. Like, I feel like that can be kind of nice. But yeah, they have this breakfast bowl with quinoa. It's actually pretty good. It's like quinoa. It's got, I think, some arugula or some greens, some eggs, some bacon in it, some sweet potato. And then they've got this like kind of tangy little orange sauce on it. That's pretty good. And yeah, that I don't mind. I mean, I feel like it's pretty filling and it's like pretty high protein with like the eggs and bacon and quinoa. And it doesn't have too much bacon because bacon can really, it's not healthiest thing, but I think it just has like one piece of bacon just kind of split up. Yeah, Kyle. I mean, avocados can be quite reasonable. I think you can get them for like $1. But also, I mean, you don't need a full avocado for an avocado toast. For one piece of toast, to cover it with avocado, really you only need half an avocado. Yeah, you only need half, honestly. I mean, some places they go above and beyond. They give you 2 slices of toast, maybe full avocado. But the Dunkin' Donuts one that was $3, I think they just give you 1 slice of toast with avocado and then, stuff sprinkled. I mean, that's really the key is to the stuff that goes on it, like the salt, maybe some olive oil, lemon spritz. If you want to go above and beyond, maybe cherry tomatoes, maybe a tiny bit of like feta cheese or something. I'm not a huge fan of cheese. Cucumber, I'm a fan. But yeah, of course, every place now charges for avocado. They're like, oh, you want avocado with that? $3. And you get like a fourth of it. You just get some avocado slices. Yeah. Definitely a lot cheaper to get the ingredients on your own. Okay, draw being made here. Bishop b4, rook c2 played by Ding. I think very rational. He's got to keep Black's activity at bay. But now the rook comes in, Nepo. He definitely proving that this endgame is holdable. And now the thing is, it's going to be really hard for White to create a pass pawn. One day he can put his bishop on b4. Even if he doesn't, let's say he does this, and then White goes a3. Well, then you get hit with bishop c1. And that forces White to push the pawn to a light square. And then once Black gets the fix in, once the fix is in, there's no changing the result. The game will just be drawn. So I don't think he's going to commit to a3. Anyway, bishop b4 played. Both sides start bringing in the king. And yeah, even if you do manage somehow to make a pass pawn, although it's very, very difficult here, one pass pawn, generally not enough to win an endgame with opposite color bishops. You typically need two weaknesses or two kind of assets, a pass pawn and a weakness to target, or a potential second pass pawn on the king side, or your king can get in and go after some pawns. But here with only like one possible passer on the queen side, doesn't feel like it's going to be enough for Ding to win. I think he knows it. I think Nepo knows it. Nepo's looking at him like, come on. Let's just do game 4, boss. Let's go to game 4, and if we got to go to blitz, buddy, we go to blitz. But yeah, all right. Bishop e1, played carefully. King e2. Now he's like, all right, are we repeating? Looks like repeating once, repeating twice. Ding offers a draw this time. He says draw. I saw him on the video. He went. And wow, big sign of confidence from Ding. He's the one that offers a draw. He is the one that offers a draw in the game, not Nepo. And game 3 drawn. We are headed to game 4. And then, folks, we might be headed to blitz. In these 25-10 games, I mean, neither player can really do anything in these 25-10 games. I said it before earlier today for the first time. I'll say it again. Rapid chess is dead. All right, game 4. Coming up next, let's update the score. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first and last. It's now 1.5. Next game will be starting, I think, in a couple minutes. If this next game is drawn, then it goes to 2 games of 5 plus 3. Blitz tie breaks. All right, let's, as is our tradition, let's replay the game for anyone that missed it. And we got the classic tennis match back. I like how it still has our arrows and our colors from earlier. Oh, will it have the big one, you guys think? With all the colors, where the bishop can move to many squares. You guys know what I'm talking about? Let's see if it gets there. Here we go. Rook d8, take. Rook d1, black has options. Oh, there it is. Oh, they saved it. Wow, look at that. It's like Facebook replaying all your memories. Remember that time you drew those arrows? Here they are again. I love it. Wow. What an instructive commentary. You know, playing through the game, we can really see there was, you know, we talked a lot about avocado toast, but there was quite a few instructive moments there. You know, you could really see some clear points were being made during those annotations. And that's game 3. Yeah, would have been nice if they had Magnus there, you know, with his belt. He's the one that has to like give it up, and then maybe he holds on to it for a little bit too long when he has to like hand it over, and it's this whole thing, you know. That would be cool. That'd be cool. Ooh, I like this aerial view. You guys watching the chess.com broadcast? I like that aerial view of the players. All right, they're setting up the board for the next game, and I noticed they don't really switch where white goes and where black. Like they don't like move the pieces from one side. They're switching the flags around. Ding Liren representing China, Ian Nepomniachtchi representing FIDE, or as they like to say, representing FIDE. You know, it's always Russian Super GM Ian Nepomniachtchi of FIDE representing the world. Yeah, exactly. Okay, looks like we have another another quick break here. A couple minutes to go. I'm gonna keep thinking about breakfast. I mean, I'm just saying we need a plan, folks. All right, we need a plan because there's gonna be game 4 coming up. It's gonna be 25-10. It could end in another draw, and then we're going to get blitz. And then we got to get ready for the blitz. I saw that. Yeah, Filatov was the head of the Russian Chess Federation, critical of Nepo. I mean, it was unclear. Some people were saying that like the translation was a little harsher than it was. Not totally sure, but yeah. It's kind of weird to talk about, you know, your boy in the middle of a match. I mean, let the dude play. Okay, you guys can sort out your personal differences later. I mean, what's going on? Yeah. All right, let's see if game 4 is ready. Oh, here we go. Man, they're just on it with the DGT. Very fast. Here's game 4, ready to go. Players are not at the board yet, so we're not going to be starting, I think, for a few minutes here. But Nepo will have white in the next game. And if someone wins this game, it's over. We have a new world champion. But if not, then we're going to move to blitz. I wonder how the players feel. I wonder if the players, you know, they just want to get it over with. They're just like, all right, let's just, you know, someone wins. No, I think right now, going into game 4, I think Nepo's thinking, all right, it's white. It's one more chance to put some pressure. But if not, we'll go to blitz. No big deal. And Ding, he's also thinking like, all right, let's just hold this. And we'll go to blitz, and I'll beat him in the blitz. Oh, exciting stuff. Nepo, crown world champion, criticizes Putin and the war, moves to France. Yeah, maybe he joins up with Alireza. Oh my God, can you imagine that French team? Alireza, Nepo, MVL. Damn, can't do it. Guys, it's too early. It's too early to wolf whistle. There we go. There we go. We got it. Berlin draw incoming. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get some queen d4, queen e4. Oh, we need to pay out the prediction. All right, let's see. Did anyone... Wow, 0% predicted Nepo wins. Choose outcome. Draw. Complete prediction. All right, next one. Let's do a prediction for game 4. Game results. Nepo wins. Draw. Ding wins. All right, 5 minutes to cast your bets. No, Alireza plays sometimes. I mean, he played the Candidates. He played Sinkfield Cup. I think he's playing Grand Chess Tour this year. He plays a little bit. Yeah, exactly. Okay, sun's coming out here in St. Louis. Finally, huh? Finally, been waiting. You know, we've been up all morning. 100% Nepo win, according to prediction so far. It's too bad Nepo's parents aren't like, you know, super well connected chess people. You guys know what I mean? Because then you would have truly been a Nepo baby. Like big missed opportunity there, you know? Big missed opportunity. Look, guys, it's Sunday morning, okay? Give me a break. Give me a... I don't even want to hear it. Okay, it's 7 a.m. All right, church hasn't even started yet. Okay. Yeah, there's got to be a rap line in there. Yeah, I'll send that one. I'll send that one to David. Interesting. So Dubov spoke up more as a Rapid World Champion. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, it's clear no one is really like safe to speak up. I mean, you would think if there's anyone they couldn't touch, it'd be Kasparov. But Kasparov, I think, is like not safe in Russia, right? And they would, I mean, they've already like thrown him in jail and stuff. So I honestly don't know if being a world champion really protects you from much of anything in the long run. Is Pruess doing another rap for training program V2? I thought I heard that he was working on like a new song, but I don't know if it's necessarily, I don't think it's for 2.0 necessarily. I think the current song definitely still very relevant for 2.0 of the program, which, by the way, folks, that reminds me, comes out tomorrow. It'll be available to sign up for the Dojo training program 2.0. You can already sign up for the current program, and then everyone's going to get transferred over anyway tomorrow, so you don't necessarily have to wait. But 2.0, very exciting. I'm sure we'll be doing a stream tomorrow, kind of showing some new things. Jesse's going to be doing a graduate show, and he'll probably highlight some of the new stuff. But if you guys have been watching the stream, you might have already seen it. But yeah, we got this new tracker thing. You can track what you've been working on, how much time you spent on it, track your progress. All the training plans now are on the site, and the scoreboard as well, all on one page. So you don't gotta, go into multiple pages to track your stuff. So very, very exciting. Very, very exciting stuff. Okay, let's see what's happening. Ding is at the board first. A sign of confidence. A sign that his mind has yet to be stopped. He's ready. He's ready. He's adjusting his pieces. Nepo's coming in. Let's see, are they going to shake hands upon arrival? How can you shake hands upon arrival after every single game? Oh, and he got to the board and he was like, oh, 1 second. The arbiter was ready to start the game. Nepo was like, oh, I need 1 second. Today, a new world champion. Tomorrow, a new training program. Absolutely. Hey, no better time to start working on your chess, huh? Than right now. Now's the time, folks. Start the new year off right by joining the January Classical. All right, they're shaking their hands. Game 4, going to be starting soon. Is there a favorite for Blitz? It's hard to say. I mean, I think, honestly, these players are very, very close, so there's no clear favorites. They're both very strong at Blitz. Ding has beaten Magnus, in some over-the-board tiebreaks before, so he is certainly not no pushover. Nepo also very fast and strong. I think it's honestly just going to come down to nerves. So far, we haven't seen any crazy nerves, actually. It's been a very solid tiebreak. We haven't seen any huge blunders or anything. As we get a repeat of game number 2. A4, bishop d7, h3, castles. And we saw bishop e3, Nepo's move, and he repeats it. Oh, repeating the opening, knight a5. They're just repeating game 1. Are they going to play all the same moves? Clearly, their teams checked it. They had a talk with their teams, and they have their improvements ready. But so far, they're repeating the game. Knight c3, that was played. In the previous game, Ding played... Oh, no, sorry. This is the new deviation. Knight c3. Knight c3 is new. In the previous game, Nepo played bishop d2. And then Ding played knight c6, and then knight c3, rook b8 takes, bishop e6. We had this before. Or maybe knight d4 first. But here, Nepo baby goes knight c3, and now rook to b8. So a little bit different move order. White didn't throw in bishop d2 and hit the knight. Oh, now bishop b1. Yeah, this is the team talking to Nepo in between the games. You're going, oh, you should have played knight c3. He was like, oh, I didn't know what to do rook b8. What about rook b8? Well, bishop b1. That's the computer move. And very interesting. I mean, he's opening up the a file, so it kind of makes sense. He just wants to take on a4, win back his pawn, bring the rook up to a4, and then long-term target the a pawn. So bishop b1, nice move. Also maybe threatening some b3s. Very interesting. So yeah, wait, to sum it up, I don't think there's a favorite for Blitz. I think it's going to come down to the nerves. Whoever's nerves hold up better. So far in these games, they've been very sturdy. I think they've been quite solid. But in the Blitz, we're probably going to start seeing some shaky hands. I think we're going to see some wet hands and some shaky hands as well. Has Team Nepo been revealed? I feel like I heard some names. I feel like Vityugov was mentioned as being part of Nepo's team. Nepo's previously worked with guys like Dubov. I feel like there's some Russian names out there. What do we call bringing the bishop to b1 like? Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a Nepo bishop to me. Nepo bishop? Can we call it that? Nepo bishop. You get the Nepo baby. Now you have the Nepo bishop. Kramnik was rumored, true. But Kramnik has also been doing commentary, so that makes it less likely that he's working. Leiko, by the way, Leiko is actually an obvious candidate because Leiko helped Team Nepo in 2021. And this year, if you notice, Leiko not doing any commentary, hasn't joined the Chess 24. What could he be doing? Leiko's normally a big commentator, but he's not doing any commentary this time around. Seems to me like he's being ultra professional, and not wanting to do commentary while he's, is helping or supporting someone. Kramnik, though, has been doing some commentary, so that's why Kramnik to me feels less likely. Because I think if you're working as someone's second, like you probably don't have time, but also, you would feel like it's a little strange to do commentary on that, because you're not going to want to talk about certain openings or the player or mention stuff, right? So it's kind of a conflict of interest. So yeah, I would look at the people that are not doing commentary in terms of who's working the match. Dubov, yeah, doing lots of commentary. Yeah, well, yeah, he worked with Magnus as well. I don't know how these guys, how it goes. I mean, maybe it's like water under the bridge. He works for Magnus one year, works for Nepo the next year. I mean, it's not really clear. Ding, he's in the tank. He is in the tank. He's trying to figure out how to deal with this bishop to b1. He decided not to deviate in this game, but now he's under a little bit of pressure. And this is game 4. Nepo's now walking around. He's doing the walk. He's got the prep. He's doing the walk. Ding doesn't figure this out. He could end up under pressure. Then he could land himself in an unpleasant situation, then a difficult situation, and then a dangerous one. I forget the hierarchy, but if this keeps going, it could end up very bad. Yeah, that would be funny. Maybe Peter Heine is on someone's team, working for Team Nepo, huh? That'd be a hoot. That'd be a real hoot. Queen e8 from Ding after a think, and Nepo, no instant response. So this move, maybe not part of the initial preparation, but Queen e8, logical, right? He just defends the pawn on a4. But this does bring up the question, maybe b3. Maybe b3 now. Going after this knight. b3 played. Thematic move. What does Ding want here? Yeah, not sure. Ooh. Okay, the lack of sleep catching up to me, folks. It's catching up to me. I went to bed late. I just couldn't fall. I tried. I just couldn't fall asleep until it was like 1 a.m. So we got iffy 4 hours. Personally, we got iffy 4 hours, but yeah, exciting times. I mean, how many World Championship matches are you going to see in your lifetime? 20, 30 in chess? Ooh, re-up on the coffee. Oh, no, thank you. I cannot do coffee this early. It just burns through me like a sludge. Just takes everything out, with it. So, yeah, I can only do coffee early afternoon usually. Or at first I need to have food, I think. Something to soak up the coffee before I can do the coffee. c5. So Ding is just going to play the structure. He's giving up the a-pawn. But I think he wants to bring his knight back to c6 and then put it on d4, where it'll be very strong. Or maybe b4, you can put the knight on b4 as well, where it kind of defends the a-pawn. But the issue with the knight on b4 and on d4, eventually, you always got to watch out for some c3 stuff. So white's going to have the structural advantage here. Knight a4, the rook supporting. I don't think on knight a4 we'll see a trade. I think black is going to want to keep the light squared bishop. But here's white's issue. This guy, bishop on b1. Not a great piece. Not winning any awards here. But I think one day white wants to go like c3, d4, and just bring the bishop back into commission. If you get c3, d4 and some bishop c2, then okay, you're happy. But that won't be easy. B pawn is always going to be a target here. But c5 played. Nepo again, away from the board, probably not washing his hands. But when he comes back, I expect knight takes a4. Then if black doesn't trade, the knight can think about swinging around over to c4. I think that would make a lot of sense. But Ding here, he's tanking. He's tanking in anticipation of Nepo's move. Because you kind of know, right, your opponent's going to play knight takes a4, so might as well start thinking now and get your move ready. Knight a4 played, and knight c6 in response. Okay, very logical. We saw this move coming. Now black wants to put the knight on d4. Knight c3 played. Looking very solid, folks. Looking very, very solid. I think chances of blitz are increasing. Increasing. Ooh, a5 played. That's very logical as well, making sure the pawn wasn't just hanging. And now, yeah, I don't fully get this for white, right? Because the bishop is blocked. It's by no means outside of the pawn chain. In fact, it is kind of the opposite of that. So white really needs to move this knight somewhere and play c3. I am a little bit curious. He quickly returned with the knight. So I wonder if this guy is going to d5 or to e2 or where. But the knight needs to move so that white can get c3 and get the bishop out. And then there's still quite a bit of life in the position. A lot of pieces and a lot of tension. But yeah, we're going to have to see. Knight d2 played. So he's really just playing without this bishop. But okay, the position is closed. It's hard for black to do anything right now. Maybe if the king side was wide open, black's bishop would be, roaming free and attacking stuff. But king side is very much closed off. So white is saying there's not much black can do while he maneuvers his pieces around. So he wants knight c4. Maybe the knight comes back to e3, like bishop d2, knight e3. So knight c4, knight e3. And then you can dominate that d5 square. So that's very possible. But still, long term, very hard to play this position with the bishop on b1. And that's what Ding is thinking. He goes bishop e6. Solid move. Now knight c4. I wonder if... I guess you could consider taking, but I wouldn't expect it, because dc and then white gets this perfect d5 square. You'll still get the bishop out with c3, and yeah, I think white will be fine there. How's the rapid going? What's up, Parker? Going well. We got 3 draws so far. Actually, it's been pretty solid. Pretty solid. The players haven't done anything super crazy so far. We'll see if we get a decisive result. This could be it in this game. If it's decisive, this would just be the winner. It's very dangerous, these games 4, because you don't have the next game as a chance to come back, right? If you lose games 1 through 3, at least okay, you lose, but you can reset. You get a chance next game. Even with black, you can do something. Sicilian, g6, bishop, g7. At least you get a game. But in game 4, 4th game of the match, if you lose this one, There's no coming back. There's no Botvinnik return clause. There's no Mackay Pfeiffer. That's it. D5 from Ding. Oh, just leaving the C pawn, the A pawn isolated. Takes, bishop D2. It's very strange position because this bishop on B1 is a weird guy. He's a weird guy. Essentially as effective as a pawn right now, right? Is not doing anything different. We could put a pawn on the board and the position would be very, very similar. In fact, if anything, it feels like less because at least the pawn can move up to B2 and start controlling some new squares. Why bishop D2? Well, he's avoiding the trade, and then I think he wants to put the bishop on C3 where then it can hit all of black's A pawns. I mean, here's the thing. If white is able to win one of these pawns and then, eventually play C3 with an extra pawn, then he's going to be happy. But I don't know. Optically, it feels like black should be all right here. Question, of course, is what to do. Because that A pawn is kind of under attack. So yeah, if knight f4, maybe white tries to just take. That would be the first question. Ooh, they're saying bishop d2 is a mistake on the chess.com broadcast. Made the position worse. We'll see if Ding can exploit it. Takes. And wow, he takes on c4. Really? Trades a light-scored bishop. I guess that's one way of keeping the A pawn is to take off this knight. Yeah, because otherwise 2 pawns were hanging. So now he's going to be playing against white's 2 bishops. Yeah, it feels pretty solid. I feel like black has to be okay here. Nepo goes BC. And he still needs to get c3 going. I guess now he has a second route for the bishop. He can bring him back to a2, b3, a4. Wow, what a comeback story that would be. The bishop went to b5 originally, and then a4, b3, a2, b1, landed on b1. Very sad, very sad. But then comeback story, comes back, gets to a2, b3, a4, and then b5. The light squared bishop can really reinvigorate itself here. But yeah, Ding definitely playing against that bishop. Ideally, he would love to trade off the dark side bishops. He goes bishop d8. Ding loves his bishop d8s. He really plays these a lot. I feel like now the bishop can kind of park on c7, cover some squares. Knight can come in, knight d4, knight b4. Yeah, feels okay for black. Feels okay. Folks, we might be headed to blitz. That's kind of where things are looking. Looks like we're going to get 2 games, 5+3. Just feels very solid. Bishop to e3 went to d2. Yeah, c3, d2, e3. Yeah, bishop moving all over. Whew. Is it going to be time soon for our breakfast? So many questions. I mean, there's nothing better than watching a sporting event with food, That's the other problem with these chess events. Sometimes they're so early. It's I would just psychologically, I would love to just have some nachos right now. Some nachos, a hot dog, popcorn. It feels like a snacking time, right? It feels like a snacking time, but it's 7 a.m. in the morning. It's hard to eat this stuff. It's 7 a.m. It's hard to eat it at any point, but it's especially difficult to eat it. You know, the body wants to fast. The body wants to keep fasting. Hash browns and sausage. Oh, that sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, Nepo again with the looks. If I was playing Nepo, I would find that very inferior. He's always just like giving these little like glances, like, oh, you didn't see this move? Oh, you didn't consider C3? Oh, oh. Always these little like insinuations, you know, these like microaggressions. Like, oh, oh, are you not comfortable here? Oh. Some questions, Mr. Bond? You know? Nepo's always just like, oh, not feeling comfortable, Mr. Bond? With his like little looks. I'd be like, all right, Nepo, take it easy. Just because you won 2 candidates tournaments back to back and you're super strong and high rated, I think you can do anything. F5 from Ding. Ding is not messing around. What's the plan here? Does he want E4? F4? Or to just hold the pawn on F5? So I feel like he's kind of intimating some like E4 ideas. E4 takes Queen E5. Or maybe E4 takes F4, positional sacrifice. Ooh, that would be a beauty, right? If we had something like Rook E1, E4 takes F4, and then black just like establishes pieces on E5, and yeah, white's just left with this terrible structure. Seems very, very playable. Yeah, especially knight E5. I would think white should just go E5 themselves just to free the bishop. I would think this is 100% worth it. But then the position is still very very unclear, very double-edged. Black, you know, F3, I mean, oh man. This position I feel like could get very sharp very, very quickly. I like this F5. This is kind of putting a lot of pressure on white. E4 and F4. Oh, did Fabi show the same thing? Oh, let's go. Let's go. Found the idea first. Let's go. Let's go. It's like the title Tuesday of commentary, huh? Everyone's doing commentary right now. Ding is playing Rapid. Nepomniachtchi is playing Blitz. We're playing 4D chess over here. Nice. But yeah, it's one of those game 4 situations. I mean, you know, a couple yesterday, right? Ding had white in the last game, and there's always this question, right? It's like you have white in the last game. Do you want to push? Do you want to put pressure, or do you want to maybe play solid? Because if you overpress, you end up losing. You know, you don't have a chance to come back. You know, vis-a-vis Topalov Anand, 2010. So there's always a bit of added pressure having white in the final game. Really don't know how much you want to push. But F5, I mean, Ding is really taking it. This is not like a simple situation for white. If he makes a couple of lackluster moves, yeah, this E4 F4 thing is gonna be very, very annoying. Yeah, 14 games of Rapid. Yeah. Fabi showing E5 as a countersack. Wow, Fabi, catch up. We already showed this E5 countersack idea like 2 minutes ago. Jeez Louise. You know, it shows you guys, it shows you the difference between eval bar commentary and non-eval bar. You know, when you got eval bar commentary, you're always looking for like the eval move. Like, oh, does this move keep the eval? Does this move keep the eval? When you have human commentary, you know, you look at the position, you come up with human ideas, and you get a closer representation to what the players are thinking, you know? You get a closer representation. That's why I feel like this high-level commentary, I feel like it'd be better if either they have access to the engine, like they can just see the moves that are suggested, and then they can decide for themselves whether those moves are like interesting or too computery to be relevant, or just have no eval bar, right? Just have the pure pure human commentary. I'm not a huge fan of like the eval guessing game where it's like, oh, eval bar shows one evaluation, like, oh, is this the move to keep the eval? Is this the move to keep the eval? Then like eval bar moves up and down. Then they're showing like some instructive line. It's always so awkward when they're like, oh, I think white would have bishop e3 in this position, and the eval bar goes way down. And then it's like, and then if black plays f4, then bishop c5, and then eval bar shoots up, and you're like, okay, well that line works, but clearly there was like something. Yeah, so it's like, right, like look at the eval after the game, or just ask the computer, I would say, in like very critical moments when things are really unclear. Then it's like, all right, just turn on the engine, see what's happening, quickly understand, and then get back to the human commentary. Anyway, rook e1 played. Now e4 definitely is like screaming for itself, especially given that Ding played f5. He starts with the rook d8. Okay, very logical as well, kind of setting it up for the future. Yeah, something relatable about Gary or Caruana suggesting a move and then getting slapped, yeah, by the eval bar. But yeah, I don't know. I find it's so awkward. I feel like they're often making a very instructive point, and the point that they're making is probably instructive. But yeah, the engine like sees some dumb detail, or the engine says it's supposed to be +3, and they're like, okay, it's supposed to be +3, so I assume this is +3, and then they make some moves, and it's not +3. It's like. It's like, oh man, you guys are so good, but I get it. No one wants to look silly, right, on the official broadcast. You don't want to, but yeah, either just give them the engine or take it away. That's what I think. But yeah, if it was just pure Geary or pure Fabi, just giving their like instinctual evaluation of the position, I think that's the most instructive thing. I also think it'd be closer to the truth. I think they'd be able to sense when a player is losing the tension. Because there's so many times where like these human players, they understand when the opponent's losing the thread. The eval still says like 0-0 because there's going to be an objective way to defend the position. But you already understand from a human point of view that the player is collapsing. They're not able to defend. The right defensive moves are very hard to find. And it's very, very likely that they're about to make a losing mistake. The human players often... Of course, they sense these moments very, very clearly. Engine, of course, doesn't give that intention. That's why you have all these, fans that are like, they see the eval and it's like 0-0, and they're like, oh, I guess it's just like a dead draw, a simple position. And then someone makes a mistake in a very complicated position, loses the game, and they're like, oh, how could he blunder that? Didn't he realize that the eval was going to shoot from 0 to +6? Oh, isn't that very smart? Like, well, yeah, I mean, it's chess is not an easy game. Rook a2 from Nepo. Now, okay, human-wise, this feels a little odd to me, right? Because it's like, where's this bishop going to go? When is this bishop going to get out? So rook a2, all right, he defends this guy in advance, but now it really feels like it's calling. It's calling for this e4. Position definitely calling for e4 here. Ding thinking. He wants to. I mean, this is a King's Indian player, at heart. He wants to go e4, queen e5, f4, f3, queen g6 maybe. Like, you can tell. He wants to mate. He wants the blood. He wants the violence. Queen g6, there we go. Honestly, this feels slightly more unpleasant for white, yeah, because it's just like, get this queen, now you have f4, f3 ideas. It's not so easy. Queen e2. Okay, now e4 is hard to achieve because e4 takes f4. There's e5 with tempo against that queen. Pizza, guys? Should we order pizza? Is it too early? I just feel like it's a world championship. You know, it's the final game. We might be getting blitz. Pizza feels very appropriate, but for the situation. But it feels very early. Also, I don't even think Domino's is like open at like 7:30 a.m. I think if you place an order for Domino's at 7:30 a.m., they're like, "Are you serious, dude? Like, we're not." Yeah. Yeah, pizza ovens need to warm up for a couple hours, right, before they're ready. Somehow you just can't get pizza in the morning. Oh, I do have a frozen pizza, actually. I do have it's not delivery, but it's DiGiorno's in the freezer. So Little Caesars opens at 11 a.m. All right, so I just need to find the Little Caesars that's like a couple time zones east of me. Because then they'll be open. Because in New York, it's like 8:30. Although there has to be like New York pizza places open. So maybe we can just order from New York. Okay, Queen D6. A little cheeky. Look at Ding's smile, huh? In his profile pic. I imagine this is what his face looks like on the inside when he plays Queen D6. He's just like, yeah. He just wants this E4, huh? Scoundrel. Look at this. Playing for checkmate. Look at this guy. And Nepo returning to the board. Nepo was away from the board again. Bathroom counter number like 22 for Nepo in this match. How is he going to deal with Queen D6? Okay, G3. G3. Now, okay, this rook A2 kind of came in handy. Yeah, because there's no E4. The bishop is defended. And now E4, F4. It's kind of possible. Of course, there's some E5 with the idea to sack the exchange, right? Like this feels like this would be very annoying for white. E5 coming in, rook F8. Ooh, this would just be nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. But let's see, E4. E4, bishop F4 immediately. And like this dark squared bishop is nice, but you don't want to give up your queen. This would be a little bit too much, guys, in terms of the positional sacrifice. This would be a little too much. So rook DE8. He just continues building up the pressure. I like this. I feel like Ding, he's like, he doesn't want to do anything too sharp yet. He's just trying to like build up. Yeah, you could also consider F4 without E4 as well. I think that's possible because white doesn't really have a knight or something that can really use this square. So F4 without E4, I think also makes sense. But I feel like he's just building up, and he's like, he's really hoping for Nepo to like pull a Nepo. You know, he's just like, come on, Nepo, just make a quick move, just like some Queen F3. You know, just like blunder some E4 thing. It's like, come on, man. He's like giving him chances, right? He's just like slowly building up. Maybe rook E7, maybe double, maybe king H8. Because like white's not really doing a lot. Like white doesn't have D4, I don't think, in any position, right? So white certainly has some moves he can try to improve his situation. Like bishop C2, bishop A4 comes to mind. But bishop C2 always runs into E4, so you never know. Bishop C1, actually, that is kind of improving black's position, just getting the bishop off of the D file, so it's not hanging. Okay, Queen F3 from Nepo, and yeah, again, I would look at this E4. Now E4 takes F4. Now the exchange sack isn't as real because black would have to trade queens, so that would not be good. I don't think, but maybe some E4 and 95, yeah? Well, I don't know. Or even FE. FE is possible because the queen is hit from two directions. So I don't know. E4 on the board. Let's go, ding. E4. Yeah, I said he was waiting for him to blunder, but I didn't mean like queen f3 is actually a blunder. I just meant like as an example. Like maybe queen f3 is bad, and then maybe there's some exploit. But no, e4 played. E4 played and DE from Nepo. Nepo takes. And now we're gonna see. We're gonna see what Ding wants here. 95 makes sense. I think they're showing this. Hitting the queen, hitting the pawn. But the thing about this move is that it also just completely opened up White's bishop, right? So unless Black gets some very, very quick play, like this bishop does open up. And this bishop is a monster now. I mean, if this bishop gets the e4 and d5, I mean, it's these light squares are going to be making White very thirsty, So yeah, there's no knight d3 because White will always be able to just trade that off. Okay, this is a little concerning. It's always concerning when one guy goes e4, big move. He's been building this up like all game. His opponent quickly recaptures or takes, and then the guy starts thinking, he's like, ding, what was the plan, boss? You can't just play e4 and, oh my god, he just went like this. He just went like this. You can't play e4 giving up a pawn and then go like this next move. What is your team going to think? Ding. Ding, 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 ding. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Under pressure. What is happening? Ding now under 10 minutes. Folks, this could be it. This game could blow up. The match could be over. We might never even get to see the blitz. What's happening? Maybe he's just kind of recalculating. I'm sure he had some idea in mind. Yeah, Jesse likes the country and the oldies. I feel like Jesse's a big oldies guy. Loves him some oldies. So what could he be thinking about? Knight e5, there's fe4 as well. Okay, knight e5 played. And we'll see if Nepo responds quickly. There's queen e2, queen g2. But his position's super sharp because like this knight on c4 is not going to be all that stable. Like maybe queen g2 takes bishop f4, something like this. And then you try to get the other bishop out, like bishop c2, bishop b3, or rook comes to e2, bishop a2. Oh, that would be the ultimate coordination. If Black could get this, and then like rook e2, bishop a2, or yeah, if White could get this, that would be very nice. So queen g2 on the board. Under pressure. It's the feeling of being in a world championship match. We'll get there. We'll get there. Under Nepo. I feel like under Nepo is a good fit. Yeah, it kind of works. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Under Nepo. All right. Queen g2. Ding still thinking. Ding still thinking. He doesn't want to take on c4 yet. Well, yeah, the way that, things have progressed since e4 make it very, very questionable. Because this is a move he was building up for many moves. Lots of time. And he plays it, Nepo takes immediately, and he starts thinking, he goes knight e5, queen g2, he's still thinking. So I don't know if he timed it right. It doesn't quite feel like he did, just based on the time usage alone. Nepo, pressing down on Ding, pressing down on him in this white game. Under pressure. It's the feeling of being in a world championship match. Another draw. Another draw. Another draw. That's okay. Oh man, he's down to 6.5 minutes, folks. 6.5 minutes against 13. This is about to get serious. This is beyond unpleasant, beyond pressure. This is getting into dangerous/serious territory. Yeah, because if you don't have a lot of time, if there's a more critical moments in this game, if things don't, liquidate from here, right, could be very difficult. You might have some more difficult questions for Ding. And he's not looking smooth. He was like fiddling with the piece. He puts the piece down. He's like back to this. Whenever the player is like fidgety, it's a clear sign, right? They're not comfortable because he keeps changing his pose. He's like picking up a piece, putting it down. He can't decide, like, does he want to hold the piece, not hold the piece, put his hands up here? Does he want to stay like this? All right, knight d3 played. Knight d3. Yeah, no shouting. No singing either. You will not find any singing on this stream whatsoever. That's for sure. So knight e3. Yeah, now black is kind of begging for white to give up this light squared bishop. I think he would love to see bishop d3, queen d3, and then things can start to kind of liquidate. Here, I feel like black would be okay. Black seems very, very active. Extremely active. So I like knight d3. That seems practical. But I don't think white necessarily has to take, right? Because maybe he can play something else. It's kind of hard. What do you do? The rook d1, there's fe4. That's not good. If rook e3, maybe just fe4 anyway. And then trying to hit f2. Yeah, it might be hard for white to avoid taking, actually. So this might be a very concrete solution to black's issues. So I don't quite see how white keeps some pull here. He does take. Yeah, he might not have had a choice because like rook e3 takes, and then this hangs, or f4 even might be, no, f4 rook e3, but takes, and then f2 is hanging. So takes. Whoa, lots of moves. ef5 played, rook e1, bishop takes e1, queen takes c4. The players are blitzing. Look at this. And Ding showing that he is not afraid. He has seen all this. Man, what's going on here? White's still keeping extra pawn, huh? But it's not very healthy extra pawn, that's for sure. But it is extra. White has one more pawn than black. In this game, the score is 1-0 in terms of the pawns. They're rappening. Yeah, that's a good point. They're rappening. Okay, now rook a1 played. Okay, this rook was hanging. I was gonna suggest g4, which is not a great move. I was like g4, queen f4. Seems unclear. No, maybe queen takes e2. So rook a1 played. That seems logical. Now maybe black starts pushing this pawn, huh? a4. I mean, he can take on f5 and allow some checks. Actually, not sure how dangerous that is for black to just take, huh? Maybe you can just take this pawn. Yeah, more and more it seems like we're going to the tiebreak. The next tiebreak, I should say, the blitz, the 5+3. If they draw this game, we get 2 games, a 5+3, best of 2 wins. If it's still tied after those 2 games, then they do 1 game of 3. Man, we might get a single 3+2 game until we get a winner. Holy moly. Oh, man. Oh, I can just imagine the tweet storms that are going to be coming if the World Championship of Chess is decided by a single Title Tuesday 3+2 game. I mean, my God. My God. And Ding doesn't play a lot of Title Tuesdays. Nepo's played a few. I feel like I've seen Nepo in a few. Ding, I haven't seen them in too many unless he plays on an alt account. So Nepo definitely feels like he's going to be the more experienced 3+2 player. But they both have played a lot of 3+2, of course. Yeah, now if anything, it feels like Black is the one that's like more comfortable here. He's got like this bishop that's not in the back rank. His queen and rook are a little bit more active. Yeah, it seems like White's the one that still has a couple more questions to answer. I think Black here feels relatively comfortable, but White's gonna need to figure out how to get the pieces out. Hello, Prancing Pony. Welcome to the dojo. Very exciting times. We got tiebreak, huh? Playoff. The World Championship. Playoffs. Exciting stuff. We're going to have a new world champion in just a little bit. It's going to be end of an era. It's going to be the post-Magnus World Championship era. Okay, bishop d2. Trying to get the bishop out. Makes a lot of sense. h6 from Ding, putting his last pawn on the dark squares, representing the colors of his dark squared bishop. Very festive from the pawns. But also I would say this move is useful because the king gets some lift, deal with back rank issues. g6 I think was probably possible as well, but then it feels a little bit weakening, especially on the dark squares. So it's hard to say. Queen c6 on the board, hitting this one. Who knows? We might just get like some blunder here. The game might end very abruptly. We never know. Yeah, this is the Chess Dojo. We try to keep it pretty instructive and educational on here, but without losing the fun and love for chess. A little annoying. Bishop is under attack. Yeah, maybe rook f7. Rook f7 seems solid, huh? Just covering this guy. Rook f7. Maybe looking to get the queen in somewhere. Queen d3, something like that. When did they trade off the knights? Knights came off a little while ago. The last knight was traded off here a couple moves ago. Black played knight d3, takes, and then we got this this position. Queen e2 feels possible. Yeah, hitting f2, hitting bishop on c7. Yeah, because queen e2 actually, if bishop e3, there's bishop takes this one, right? And then, but queen e6 check. Ooh, this would be like maybe a way for Black to blunder. So queen e2, bishop e3, I think. Bishop e3. Yeah, feels like the move. All right, rook f7. Played. Solid. 10 minutes for Nepo against 3 for Ding. So it feels like maybe there's still some life left in the position. Maybe he can try to find a way to pose some problems. That's what you want to do, right? It's not about, Fabi made a great point the other day. It's not about whether this position is like winning or drawn. In most endgames, it's not like, is it a win or is it a draw? It's really just like, are you making progress or not? It's like, are you getting closer to winning the game or not? Or is the opponent holding? If the opponent is just holding without having to do anything or make any concessions, then that's bad, right? If you're the the side that's pressing. But if the opponent is like making concessions, having to change their setup, then it's like you're making progress. Like that's what's important. You don't know if you're winning yet. Maybe you'll win, maybe you won't, but making progress, it's like that's what you're kind of hoping to do. So that's what he's looking for here. It's like how to make some progress as white. Okay, goes rook e1. Activating the rook. King h7. Quickly getting the king off of the back rank, avoiding a lot of checks. Very, very logical. Dang, it's hard. It's hard to root for someone. I just feel like when I look at the players, Ding just has such a just a much more sympathetic face, you know? He has resting sympathetic face. You just sympathize with him. You see his face, you know, you see his plight as a chess player. It's like you want him to succeed. Nepo, he's like a little, rougher around the edges, right? A little harsher. He has these like looks, he's like these faces, expressions. It's hard to truly feel for him when he's gaming it up. Yeah, queen e4 check, possible. But in the endgame, I think, white would not really have a ton of reason, I think, to be happy there. But yeah, but if I have to pick a world champion, I don't know. I just think Nepo is a much more logical choice. If we're going to have a split world, right, with Magnus away from the helm, to me, somehow a Nepo world champion makes sense. I mean, he qualified, and lost to Magnus. Then he qualified again, right? And okay, presumably Magnus would have won the match, but if Magnus doesn't want the world championship, it kind of makes sense that it should go to Nepo. But okay, if he has to win a match against Ding to prove it, then so be it. I think that's it's fair and reasonable as well. And now he's spending his time. That's good. I mean, what's the point of a time advantage if you're not going to spend it at some point and try to come up with something? This is what you want to do. Yeah, no, that's very true. Very true. Chinese world champion might do a lot for the game. I would say that's reasonable as well. I just think Nepo's going to tweet more, as a world champion. Ding, he doesn't tweet at all. I don't know if he even has a Twitter account. I don't know if he's ever tweeted anything. But Nepo, he's got a Twitter, And if we see more Nepo Twitter, that would be fun. That would be fun. He can maybe go after PogChamps again. You guys remember when Nepo went after PogChamps? He called it popcorn chess. That was great. That was awesome. I mean, more of that, please. I mean, I like PogChamps, but I also like that Nepo went after it. I just thought it was a great drama. That was hilarious. And then everyone was mad at him. You're a kid. He's like, shut up, guys. He's like, go back to your popcorn chess. He's showing what the real chess is about today. Queen e8. How could they actually improve the press conference afterwards? Yeah, I don't know. My thinking is for the press conferences, they should really just separate the players. And they should just stop with these questions that, the players are never going to want to answer. Like, oh, what did you think about the opening? Are you well prepared for this line? We're open. The players, they just don't want to give anything away, right? Even if it's not really giving something away, the players are always going to err on the side of not giving information away, right? So if they're asked for like, what did you eat for breakfast? It's like the instinct is just going to be like, oh, nothing special, just normal stuff. No, because they don't even want to say like any specifics, right? It's like any information that the opponent gets can be used, right? And it's like, yeah, you just don't want to give the other side anything to work with. What are you going to do with the money? That's a good question. But yeah, in general, I just feel like all these chess players, they're like humble. They don't like to trash talk. They don't want to say anything until the match is over. And that makes sense because chess is such a humbling game, right? Very, very humbling. Like you can feel like you're super strong and amazing, but like you make one bad move and all of a sudden you remember exactly, what an idiot you are, right? So it's like, it's very, I think, natural for chess players to just not really want to say anything or plug their ego in any way. Yeah, so I think they should just separate the players when it comes to the press conference, because I think you're a lot more likely to talk when the opponent that you've just been battling with for the last several hours isn't like literally right next to you. I think you're a lot more likely to be open and forthright with your thoughts if, just psychologically you don't feel your opponent literally sitting right next to you, especially like in a match. Like you're going to play them again and again. In a tournament, I understand you can give some information away. You're never going to play this guy again, right? In that tournament. But in a match, it's like, it's very hard to say anything when your opponent is coming with you. Queen e2, huh? Wow, look at this move. Look at this move. Leaving the bishop undefended. He's got Queen e1, queen takes e3. Very, very smart. But yeah, just separate the players and then just ask them one question, right? Just one question only. What did you think about the game? That's the only question that needs to be asked at a chess press conference. What were your thoughts on the game? That's it. And then just let them talk. I thought I had a good position. I thought I had a bad position. Yeah, but okay, I think just whatever. Let them say whatever they want. If they want to go through the game, show some lines. That's great. Have them go through the game. Just have them play through the game. Show one or two, moments that they thought were critical. That's it. That's the only question that should be. And then from there, it's like, thank you. Good luck next game. And then after the event, after the match is over, after the tournament is over, then you can do a longer press conference. You can be like, what was your preparation going into the match? Like, how do you feel about your play overall? Obviously, they're not going to say anything during the match, right? They're never going to say anything. They don't want to give anything away. But then after the match is over, then I feel like both players are going to be a lot more open about, anything that they want to share. What was your preparation like? Was it just you and Rapport, or did you have other friends helping out as well? You can ask Nepo about his team, what he did differently. But anyway, I feel like, yeah, that should all just happen after the match. During the match, we should just realize players aren't going to want to say anything and just make the press conferences short and painless. What did you think about the game? What did you think about the game? Done. And yeah, what about this whole thing when the loser goes home, the winner analyzes the game with the commentator? So I think that is a lot more possible with my system, because when it's like the winner and the loser there, then the winner, he doesn't want to spend a bunch of time, showing all his lines and showing how brilliant he was, like with his opponent right there, right? It's just like, a waste of time. And also, you just feel bad. You're just like, dragging it out, and the other guy just has to like sit there. That's why you separate it. So then the loser can just talk about the game for as long as they want. Maybe they only want to say one or two things. I play terrible today. I feel terrible. And that's it. Then they go home. Maybe they say a little bit more. They're like, yeah, I missed this. And then that's cool too. And then the winner, you just let them talk as long as they want, right? They're probably pretty happy. They're probably more willing to show some lines, show some variations. But they're going to talk less, if their opponent is sitting right there. That's what I think. Anyway, what's going on in the game? Ding snagged the pawn. What happened here? So Nepo, yeah, doesn't want to keep this this c pawn, which I understand. Rook c1, rook f6. So apparently there are no tactics, huh, with bishop d2. I guess there's like queen d4 and stuff. So queen e2, queen e2, queen d5, bishop b4. Folks, this game is not over. Black's up a pawn. Guess white can take on c5, right? Takes, queen takes. No, it gives queen e4 check. Ooh, we'll probably see some kind of repetition here. Queen e4, king g8. Yeah, I think we're going to see some repeated moves. Only 3 minutes for Nepo here. He's looking at the clock. He's looking for something. He's looking, but it's like more and more. I think that that feeling of the blitz coming up, I feel like that's kind of settling in for both players right now. Both of them are like, okay, if this game is drawn, we're going to blitz. We're going to blitz. We're going to blitz. And now I feel like, yeah. Definitely I'm starting to feel like Nepo's losing. Like he was trying to win, but okay, what can you do? I mean, black has these a-pawns, so you kind of have to give checks here and draw the game. Is there a break before the blitz? Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a few minutes break. They've been doing a couple minutes break in between each rapid game. Yeah, there'll probably be a bit of a break before the blitz. Maybe 5-10 minutes. We'll see. Yeah, very possible Nepo missed queen e2. Absolutely. That was a nice resource. Unpinning because of this queen e1 check. And okay, they've repeated once. And they've repeated a second time. Oh, Nepo's giving him one of these. So it's kind of like, all right, yeah, time to make a draw. I don't think I can win this kind of thing. And yeah, folks, I think we are about to get 4 draws in the rapid tiebreak. Like I said, rapid chess is dead. We're moving on to blitz. Classical and blitz, you know, these are the only 2 time controls remaining where you can have decisive games. Blitz because it's blitz, and classical because you have enough time to take risks. But rapid chess is dead. Can't take any. Rook g6. Ding. Plays for the win. Ding. Whoa. Let's go. Welcome to the ding. Welcome to the ding right now. Rook g6. This is playing with fire, though. I mean, this rook is pinned. This rook is pinned. There's going to be h4, h5. Queen f5 now. I'm shocked. Honestly. I mean, because it feels weird. You know, you put your rook on g6, you're pinned up. But okay, I mean, clearly he wants to just run the a-pawn and just... I don't know if Ding thinks he's winning, but he clearly doesn't feel like he's worse. So he's just putting some pressure. Oh, c4 now. Oh, okay, yeah, he doesn't want to... Yeah, because a4 white could take here probably, right? Then the rook comes in, you get rook c6 issues. That's not good. So c4. And now he wants to put this pawn on c3. They just kind of keep pressing. Yeah, it doesn't feel like... I mean, it feels like white should have play here, but who knows? Who knows? I think Nepo was thinking like, okay, I'm in control. I can make a draw anytime. Okay, yeah, but okay, draw is okay. Draw is okay. And then all of a sudden rook g6. And now it's a psychologically very difficult moment here, right? Because Nepo thought he's pressing, and then he thought he's like acquiescing to draw. He's like, okay, draw, okay, fine, we can make a draw. And then Ding's like, not so fast. Not so fast, Nepo. Maybe I want to make a couple more moves. So psychologically, Nepo's going to have to figure it out. And look at this, times have equalized. 115 each. Yeah, why queen f5 instead of h4? I don't know. I mean, queen f5 makes sense because it unpins and you threaten this pawn. H4, it doesn't technically threaten anything just yet. But it is, I mean, it seemed very reasonable as well. So h4 now played. Queen d3 from Ding. Ooh. Hold on. What's happening here? Hold on. If he takes over this diagonal and gets the pawn to c3, this might just be terrible for white. Holy moly. What is going on here? Queen f3. Okay, I think both players are starting to look very nervous right now. They're both getting a little shaky because I think they realize something's happening here. Rook f6, queen g4. Because black's king is safe. This queen on d3 is a monster. And like if black can just hold on to this pawn, I mean this is huge. This is huge. Ooh, someone said the blitz has already started. Oh baby, the blitz has already started, folks. Oh man, 1-1. 1-1 right here. This is 1 plus 10 they're playing right now. 1 plus 10. So rook d1, queen g6. If white trades queens, I mean, that endgame looks terrible, right? It's just like these pawns are too strong. You wouldn't be able to win this pawn. You wouldn't be able to stop this pawn. Black's king walks in. So it feels like he has to keep the queens on the board just to keep more dynamics in the position. Like queen e2. Oh man, I think Ding might have won this world championship with literally one move, rook g6. Just like playing for the win, like repeating once, and then just going here. And now he might be realizing it's his chance. Okay, queen c8, rook c6, queen a8. Nepo playing for some mating ideas maybe. Oh boy. Oh, this just got very sharp. This just got very sharp now. c2, rook d8. c1 equals queen check. Rook d6. Ding, he just wants to win this. He just wants to win this technically. He just wants to trade the rooks off and promote the c-pawn. Very unpleasant move for white because you don't really want to trade rooks, but yeah, it kind of felt like he had to. So queen e4, queen g6, bishop endgame would be lost for white. So queen c4. Nepo though, he's defending. He's defending hard here. This definitely doesn't seem easy for black. But now there's fewer pieces on the board, so now it seems like black has a lot of potential. Just play queen v1. You can like start walking your king in a bit. Maybe check an a4. Yeah, no, this is very, very difficult to hold. I mean, it's two pass pawns. It's two pass pawns, Kyle. We're not talking about one pass pawn here. One pass pawn I would understand, okay? You can get one pass pawn at Tim Hortons, but this is two pass pawns. This is two pass pawns. So that's serious. Now a4. Nepo down to 30 seconds. I think the hardest thing is just psychologically, you know? Because it's like you were better as white. You thought you had like easy draw. You can repeat whenever you want. He acquiesces. He's like, okay, you know, just time to make a draw. And now Ding plays on. Now this is very hard. Bishop d4. a3. Ooh, this queen endgame. We can get this queen endgame. But I mean, how does white deal? Because black is covering the diagonal. So how do you get these checks? Oh, queen c7. Ooh. Threatening mate. Now what? Queen g6? But now if he takes, queen comes back to b1. Sorry, a2, and then queen comes to b1. I mean, that queen endgame is winning. 5 seconds for Nepo. You got to make a move. Okay, queen c4. c2. Bishop e3. Oh, bishop takes g7 was a draw apparently. Yeah, good luck finding that. Yeah, good luck finding that. Bishop d6. Oh my god. Nepo is very close, guys. I mean, look how close he is. The pawns are literally like one square away from winning the game for him. Ding is super close. King g2. It's going to be all about the nerves here. All about the nerves. Nepo, he's spinning that piece in his right hand like his life depends on it right now. Ooh. But how to break through? How to break through? This pawn's stuck. This pawn's stuck. If Ding wins this, yeah, he is the world champion. today on the spot. If either player wins this game, they get the World Championship. This is game 4. Like I said, there's no coming back in this game. There's no coming back. Looks like he's got 45 seconds here. H5. I love H5. Love H5. I feel like this helps black a lot. Now bishop E5. Ooh, bishop's coming to B2. Bishop's coming to B2. And then here's the plan. You can promote one pawn in order to force the bishops off. Because if that pawn gets to A2, that A pawn wins this game, guys, for black. That A pawn just wins the game. His queen is on G6, covering all the checks. So yeah, that's why Nepo is going G4. He just has to open things up now. Just has to make a mess out of it. H5, Queen F5. Oh boy. Oh boy. I gotta watch the video. I mean, everyone has to watch the video, right? I wish I could share with you guys. I don't think I'm allowed to, but I think everyone should be watching. Just stay here. Just stay here with us, but watch the video, because I mean, this is historic. This is historic. Queen D5 now. Yeah, Bishop B2 would be over. Bishop B2 would be over. G3, F4. Oh my God, Nepo. He's fighting for his life right now. He's absolutely fighting, but this has to be just completely lost. I mean, 3 passed pawns is too many. Folks, 1 passed pawn, no big deal. 2 passed pawns, that's serious. 3 passed pawns, A2. He just played A2. Holy moly. Holy moly. That's a game winner right there. Oh my God. It's game over. It's game over. Nepo's looking around. It's done. He can't take with the pawn. He can't take with the queen. Because takes and promotes. He takes on A2. But now black takes on F4. Ding is winning this game. Nepo cannot believe it. And he has resigned. Holy moly. What a match. That is it. Ding wins. They shake hands again. Oh man, he just looks exhausted. Dude, Ding is... Nepo, he's out of there. He's mad. He's done. But Ding, he can't believe it. Oh my God. Are you watching him right? He literally cannot believe it. He's like this. He cannot believe what has just happened. Holy moly. Look at the relief. Ding Liren. The new world champion. Oh boy. What a finish. He took that chance. He grabbed it and he won that game. Dang. Ding Liren. Let's go. Ding, 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 ding. Oh man. The new world champion. King Ding. King Ding Liren. Holy moly. Wins it in the tiebreak. 3 draws and then game 4 takes it. Especially like they were repeating. Nepo was so ready. Oh, it's such a classic moment. This happens to me all the time in like open tournaments. I like think I'm better. Then I'm like, all right, time to repeat. Let's make a draw. Let's make a draw. Let's make a draw. And then rook G6. And then it's like, oh wait, hold on. What's happening here? It's like, wait, am I still better? Is black playing for the win now? Ding Liren. Ooh. King Ding Liren. Oh man. What a game. All right, folks, I'm going to play the game so you guys can watch the full thing. The final game of the 2023 FIDE World Championship match. The decisive game 4. All right, let's get some tennis going. Is Nepo going to do the press conference? He might. I mean, he's a professional, he might be there. But of course, if he's not there, I don't think they're really gonna, what are they gonna do? Forfeit him? What are they gonna do? I guess they could penalize him. I mean, Carlsen, he famously didn't show up to a press conference after losing that game to Kryakin, and they fined him. So yeah, I mean, maybe he takes it off, maybe they fine him, maybe they don't. But yeah, I don't think anyone blames Nepo here if he wants some time for himself. Oh man, I'm remembering all these arrows. I remember all these arrows like they were yesterday. You guys remember all these highlights? That's it. Ding Liren wins 2023 FIDE World Championship. Yeah, Nepo did the final press conference, against Carlsen when he lost. But of course, that result, it's kind of decided for a couple of days. Like, it felt like it was pretty clear. Oh, look at this finish too, man. Ding just turned on absolute Super Saiyan mode for this whole thing. Rook d6, trading off the rooks. Oh man, he was actually not so fast, buddy. Not so fast, buddy boy. Wins the critical game, seizes the chance. Yeah, so champions are made. Yeah, I'm not sure what the blunder was. Maybe it was queen f5. But clearly he was under a ton of pressure. They're showing h4 was a big mistake because it allowed this queen d3 move. That might be right as well. Oh man, then want to finish a2, and then he just takes, and yeah, white resign here because now it's c pawn is just promoting. Yeah, when Ding got c4 and queen d3, and I think it was already very, very difficult. Well, they're setting up for the press conference now. I think we'll probably close the stream and raid over to chess.com so you guys can watch the press conference with the new King Ding Liren. Very, very well. I'm very happy for him. The guy. Okay, he had his struggles with the current cycle that we all know about, but 2019. Ding Liren was, monster. He got 109 games, unbeaten streak, at the high level. Got to 28-10 FIDE. Ding was, there was a time when Ding was, very, very deserving. So I can't help but feel like he is a worthy champion. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for the bits. Yeah, folks, not to toot my own horn. I'm no, world champion, but we did have to wake up 5 a.m. today to follow the match live. It was great though. It was very exciting. I'm glad we did it. Okay, first 3 games, maybe we could have woken up just for the 4th game, looking back on it. As always, history is the ultimate judge. Maybe we could have gotten up just for the final game and a lot of the same, but it wasn't the same, guy. It wasn't, it was so much more special. We got game 1 draw, game 2 draw, game 3 draw, the tension builds. And finally game 4 ends. Oh yeah, we got to update the score here. Final score 2.5, 1.5. King Ding Liren. It's going to be hard to fully get in there. Let me see if I can fix it. Here we go. Oh, there it is. King of the streaming right here. King of the OBS. That's true. I was up a little bit earlier. I set my first alarm for 4:45 a.m. And get this, guys. It often happens to me before big events. I was awake and it was dark and I'm and then 2 minutes later, the alarm goes off. And I'm all right. I almost checked my time too. Sometimes I wake up and I want to check my phone. I'm hold on, you're still sleepy. If you check your phone, you're going to mess everything up. So I'm just trust that you set the alarm and just wait for it. But yeah, I was up 4:45 a.m., folks. 4:45. But yeah, I think we're going to end it there. I'm probably going to go maybe get some breakfast or go for a walk or something. Maybe go back to bed. But yeah. Wow. Great match. Honestly, what a match. Oh man. I mean, poor Nepo, you know, he really deserved it. He led multiple times. He won the candidates. I mean, he very much deserved it. But what a match, huh? I mean, this was truly a match between like the world number, you know, or let's say the two of the top players in the world. I don't want to say that they're a clear number 2 and number 3. I feel like that's disrespectful to some to say that, but like clearly these two were very, very deserving of the highest title. And now we'll see. We'll see what happens from here. You know, we'll see what happens with Magnus. I think Magnus keeps playing. We're going to see him in the Grand Chess Tour maybe. We're going to see these guys possibly in the Grand Chess Tour. So the chess world continues, you know. And now you got all these hungry juniors that are probably watching this match like, ugh, these guys. Can't imagine what like Pragnananda and like Abdusatorov and Gukesh and Keimer, you know, they're just like, oh man, if I was them, I'd be training right now. I'd be training hard come the next number 1, Firouzja. Yeah. Okay, folks, I think that's going to do it. Let's raid the chess.com broadcast. You guys can watch the final press conference with Ding. Thanks for hanging out. It was fun. I do not regret waking up super early at all to watch this live. It was cool. I'm glad you guys hung out. But yeah, let's raid Big Chess so you guys can maybe hear the closing thoughts, and then of course watch the press conference, which will probably be quite interesting. Yeah, please give Ding a proper welcome. He's the new king. I mean, it's not clear, as we were talking about, it's not clear. Magnus is still around. You know, it's going to be very tumultuous, but hey, it's always been tumultuous in chess history. That's just how things go, all right? So, yeah, don't knock it till you live through it. All right, thanks, folks. Have a good one. Maybe I'll see you later today. I might stream later on, planning to do the Dojo Masters training around 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the high-rated members of the Dojo training program. Dojo training program, folks, don't forget to check it out. 2.0 is being released tomorrow. You can already sign up for the training program. Of course, you could have signed up all year, but tomorrow everyone will be switching over to 2.0. Very, very exciting stuff. We'll be sharing a lot more on that as well. But yeah, great time to be improving your chess right now, folks. If you're feeling inspired, you want to work on your game, 2.0 is coming out tomorrow. That is right. Okay, folks, time to raid. Tell chess.com we said hello. And yeah, catch you all next time. Take care.